Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy KCM, What Ifs. Today we are going to be reading the sealed kunai, or what if Naruto had his true potential sealed away. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Well, Naruto, is this familiar or what? Kakashi said as he gave the young blonde an eye smile. Naruto rolled his eyes. Yeah, Kakashi. Real familiar. Except we aren't going to the land of waves this time. We're going to the land of water. I still have no idea how the hell we're even pulling this one off. Isn't there a civil war going on right now? Kakashi nodded. Well, it's mostly over. The anti-bloodline forces were all but wiped out. Now it's mostly just cleanup duty for the victorious side. We should be just fine. The new Mizukage sent out a message of goodwill to the other villages, so nothing should go wrong. Naruto sighed. Kakashi, what's my track record with you when it comes to easy detail missions? Kakashi raised a finger in dispute. We've only had one true easy detail. Naruto snapped his fingers. There you go. 1 for 1. That's 100% on the bullshit ratio. That's why I brought a shitload of explosive notes. He then fished through his gear and pulled out a fat stack of explosive notes, flipping through them like paper money. Oh yeah. Sealing jutsu is the greatest thing ever. Kakashi's sweat dropped. And what, pray tell, are you going to do with... Kakashi lifted his forehead protector to use his Sharingan for a quick count. 34 explosive notes? Naruto grinned at him as he put them where he got them from. Any damn thing I want, I have 34 explosive notes. Troublesome, why am I here again? Shikamaru stated as he caught up with Kakashi and Naruto. You took me away from my team and sent me on a mission that has a high probability of the you-know-what hitting the fan. What did I do to you guys for this? Naruto glared lightly at the lazy Chunin. You made me do an entire day's worth of menial labor without the use of shadow clones. I didn't forget that, but Kakashi was the one that requested you. So, deal. Or would you rather be on gate duty like Kotetsu and Izumo? Shikamaru yawned. Actually, that sounds right up my alley. Doing nothing all day sure beats traipsing off to God knows where with you. Tayuya walked up and looked at Shikamaru with a scoff. How the hell did your lazy ass get promoted to Chunin? Naruto and Shikamaru looked at each other before Naruto pointed at Shikamaru lamely. He's really, really smart. Tayuya frowned and looked Shikamaru over. Can he beat you, shithead? Naruto shrugged. I don't know. The last time we were supposed to fight, he just quit. I guess he was just too unmotivated to go up against me. Shikamaru palmed his forehead. Don't make me out to be like that, Naruto. You broke my Shadow Precision Jutsu without even trying. Remember, I tried it the second the fight started. Naruto scratched his nose and looked up at the sky. Oh, so that's why it was so damn hard to move my arm. Or anything in general. I swear, I had a crick in my neck that was totally stifling. Shikamaru's face fell and jumped up with the quickness. So you're telling me that you had no idea that you were caught in my jutsu? Naruto grinned. Nope. I just thought you were being a lazy ass and didn't want to fight. I didn't say anything because by the time you came out to fight, I was sick and tired of beating up all the genin. You actually made my job easier. Tayuya barked out a laugh. Shithead bluffed you into quitting a fight without even knowing that he did it. That's great. So what are we doing anyway? I doubt we're going to the land of water to see the sights after the Civil War. Naruto grimaced and thought about why they were heading out to Chigiri no Sato in the first place. You've actually got something on the Akatsuki? So I'm not going to get blindsided randomly out in the middle of nowhere? Naruto asked as he stood with Kakashi in Tsunade's office. Tsunade gave Naruto an apprehensive look as Shizune laughed nervously at her side. We're not saying that, Naruto. Jiraiya just said that he found some interesting information about Akatsuki, but he needs someone to go to Kirigakura to investigate. Naruto filled in the blanks. And by someone you mean me, right? Me too. Kakashi chimed in with his ever-present one-eyed smile. Me and Kakashi. Anyone else coming on our little getaway to a glorified war zone? Naruto griped at the blonde woman. Shizune cut in. Naruto-kun. The civil war in Kiri has been over for upwards of a few months now. There's a new Mizukage and everything. It's not a war zone anymore. Naruto chuckled slightly and looked at the black-haired medic. Shizune can tell me. What happened to the old Mizukage? The one that was there while the war was going on. Shizune gave Naruto a sheepish look. I don't know Naruto-kun. No one does. Naruto nodded. And that's the point. Until the leader can be accounted for, we all know that nothing is over. What is this rank? If it's anything less than a rank, I'm calling your sanity into question, Ba-chan. I'll have to ask if you're going senile. A paperweight to the face was his response. Naruto spit some teeth on the floor and ignored the looks of shock he was getting from Kakashi and Shizune. They'll come back in an hour from now. Kakashi peeled his eyes away from the bloody-mouthed Chunin, right? Well then, we're to search as much of the land of water as we are permitted to look at and come back with anything we can find on Akatsuki. Correct? Tsunade nodded. Yes. This will be run on your orders as you will be the ranking shinobi in charge. Take care and make sure you get everyone back alive. End flashback, Naruto. Naruto came back into focusing as Shikamaru shouted in his ear. The troublesome redhead asked you a question. Why are we going to the land of water anyway? Naruto scratched his cheek and looked away sheepishly. Cloud watching? Yeah, red cloud watching. Kakashi looked at his young charges. We're going on a reconnaissance run to see what the landscape of the land of water looks like. Also to see if we can set up some kind of rapport with the new Mizukage, seeing as how the old one was deposed. Naruto looked over at Tayuya. So, Tayuya-chan, ever been in the land of water before? You were Orochimaru's bodyguard, right? You've probably been all over the place, Tayuya chuckled. You would think so, wouldn't you, shithead, but that fucker never let us go anywhere. He just kept us cooped up in that stupid little underground rat's nest of his. He only let us out to go on missions that kept us into no Kuni. So no, I'm not as worldly traveled as you think I fucking should be. Naruto held up his hands in defense. Damn, it was just a question. No need to bite my head off. He turned to Shikamaru. I think you might be onto something with the whole women or troublesome thing. I would say that out loud, but as often as you say it, it might make people wrongly think that you're gay. Shikamaru gave Naruto an irritated glare, but let it pass as he figured it was too much hassle to stay mad about something like that. Tayuya had another question, however. So why exactly do we need to go for reconnaissance in the land of water? Kakashi answered her, Well, it's been about 10 years since any reliable information came out of that place. Well, with all of the on-again, off-again fighting that was always taking place. So we're heading in to get good scope of what Kiri has as far as military, or anything really. The next night. By nightfall of the previous day, they had made it to the shores of the Land of Fire, and had boarded a ship heading out towards the island nation of the Land of Water. In order to barter passage aboard for the entire squad, Naruto had to enlist the services of his shadow clones as deckhands. This led to Naruto being cursed out every single time he came on deck by his clones turned sailors. As the rest of the team were below deck, Shikamaru was doing absolutely nothing, while Tayuya was practicing with her flute. Naruto was up above, ignoring his belligerent clones bumping into him and giving half-assed apologies. Hey Naruto, what are you doing out here? Kashi came up above and found the real blonde amid the batch of fakes that were hard at work. Naruto dispelled one of his more rowdy clones with a punch after it elbowed him in the ribs. Not much, just thinking. Hey Kakashi, when you make shadow clones, do they ever try to mess with you, or is it just me? Kakashi chuckled as he looked over the side of the ship alongside his one-time student. It's just you, Naruto. Only you could have disgruntled copies of yourself. Naruto let out a small laugh. I'm not sure if that compliment was backhanded or not. Hey, you were on my dad's team back in the day, right? Kakashi looked around for eavesdroppers. It's okay. Ever since I made clones to work through the night, the regular sailors took this as their cue to slack. They're all down below getting sloshed right now. We're alone up here. Yep, all 45 of us. Right, boys? He yelled over his shoulder. Fuck you, boss! Was the response from one of his clones. Naruto gestured to the clones moving about the ship. See how much respect I command? So you knew my dad, right? Kakashi nodded. Yes, I did. He was a great man. You, Naruto rolled his eyes. Yeah, I look just like him. I know. I know tons of stuff about him from Iro saying, what I want to know about is my mom. Did you know her? Because I can't get anything on her. Come on, Kakashi, you've got to give me something here. Kakashi stroked his chin and made exaggerated thinking sounds. Hmm. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt. He then turned to Naruto with an eye smile. Call me Kakashi-sensei and I'll think about it. Naruto gave Kakashi a dry look. Kakash, he growled out. Kakashi wagged his finger chidingly. Ah, ah. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto leaned on the railing. Well, if you teach me something, I'll call you Kakashi-sensei. Otherwise, you're not getting that one out of me. Kakashi shrugged. All right, fair enough. Do you know how to make your own jutsu? Naruto shook his head in the negative. He knew that the ninja that were able to did so, but he had never been taught how exactly to go about doing that for himself. In truth, his one original move was more of a kick-ass henge that no one else could do as complete as he could. So, knowing how to come up with a way to actually utilize all of the crazy little things that he had swimming through his head at all times of the day and night was damnably useful. Naruto looked up at Kakashi and smiled. Deal, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi smiled and ruffled Naruto's hair. Okay, now you're pushing it. Kakashi removed his hand from Naruto's head. Okay. So you know the two forms of chakra manipulation, right? Shape transformation and nature transformation. Well, from what I've heard, you've already mastered both, what with you learning the Rasengan, the pinnacle of shape transformation in ninjutsu, and with you mastering your elemental affinity over wind. That means that there's only one thing left for you to be able to do. Naruto waited for the rest of his speech, and that is? Kakashi stalled for dramatic effect, and apparently it was working too, because all of Naruto's topside shadow clones were waiting nearby, with their attention set on listening. Nothing. You should be able to make your own jutsu now. Are you sure that you're just not imaginative enough for it? 44 face faults were his response. The shadow clones all hit the deck so hard they dispelled. The original hopped up and glared at Kakashi with a twitching eye. Kakashi, I'm going to. Kakashi waved him off. Naruto. Calm down, I was kidding, but I was mostly serious though. You already have all you need to start making your own jutsu. Just experiment with things that you think could work. You can pretty much do anything you want with the level of skill that you possess in the necessary areas. Maybe you can even succeed where I failed. Naruto raised a scarred eyebrow. What do you mean, Kakashi-sensei? Kakashi extended his right hand as a spinning blue ball of chakra that was quite familiar to Naruto took form. Naruto stood gaping at the Rasengan in Kakashi's hand. You know how to do the Rasengan? Kakashi had a pleased look on his masked face. Yep. Minato-sensei taught it to me in the hopes that I could take it to the final stage of the jutsu's development. Uh, is there something wrong, Naruto? Naruto simply stared at Kakashi with a tick mark on his head. Yeah, Kakashi. I think there might be. Now when you went off for a month before the Chunin exam finals with Sasuke to teach him your Shaki, Dabichai Dori. Why, oh why, did you not leave me the instructions to the Rasengan? That would have been so much more helpful than getting thrown off a cliff by a pervert. Especially seeing as how it was my old man's jutsu anyway. And you knew I was his son. What the fuck? Naruto's eyes flashed red for a moment. Kakashi rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Would it help if I said that it slipped my mind? What with all of the Orochimaru putting the curse seal on Sasuke and telling me that he was seeking to take him away, and whatnot. Naruto sighed and shrugged, dismissing his ire for the moment. Never mind. It's cool. So wait, you're saying that you were going to add something to the Rasengan? What? Your elemental chakra? Kakashi nodded. Exactly. It's how I ended up making the Chidori in the first place. It was an accident when I was trying to combine Rasengan with my lightning element. I failed but ended up getting my own jutsu out of it. If I were you, I would start by trying to combine your own element to the Rasengan. Maybe you can make it work where I failed. Naruto formed his own Rasengan and smiled before looking up at Kakashi. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei. I know what my next major projects are going to be now. So, did you know my mother at all? If you didn't, that's okay. I can't seem to find anyone that would tell me anything, so I thought I would come to you. Kakashi looked at the hopeful look on Naruto's face and paused. Your mother's name was Kushina Uzumaki. You got most of your looks from Minato, and when you were on my squad, I could swear you got your personality from her. I think you've still got some of it, actually. She was something of a hothead, a trait I see in you quite often these days, whether you try hiding it or not. Naruto smirked and shrugged, getting a chuckle out of the masked Jonin. Kakashi looked up at the moon. Your parents were wonderful people, Naruto. They were both excited to meet you. I have no doubts in my mind they would have given anything in the world to see how you turned out. I think they would be awfully proud of you. I know I am. Naruto looked away bashfully before turning back to Kakashi. So if you were my dad's student, doesn't that make you like my god brother or something? Kakashi looked up curiously, huh? Well, when you put it that way. Naruto's eyes widened. Oh no. I've got a pervert as a godfather and as a godbrother, and both of them are my senseis. I never had a chance, did I? Naruto's eyes shrank back to normal size, and he let out a dismissive noise, whatever. No use fighting the flow, I might as well enjoy the fruits of my affliction. Though I could do without taking Yaro Kyofu's ass beatings. You guys are crazy to flaunt it in public the way you do. Hey, by the way, Kakashi-sensei, do you like being insane? Kakashi gave Naruto a thumbs up. I enjoy every waking second of it. It definitely makes things a hell of a lot more interesting, I'll tell you that. 2 days later. Sweet fucking land. Tayuya ran off of the ship as it docked in the land of water so fast she left a scorch mark where she had been standing on deck. Being seasick for the duration of the trip wasn't fun for Tayuya, which meant it wasn't fun for anyone on her squad as she invented new ways to curse someone out, even when hanging off the side of the ship for most of the journey. Shikamaru yawned and rubbed his eyes as he stepped off of the ship and got an eyeful of the port town they had docked at. I was rather enjoying just doing nothing on that ship the whole time. Maybe I should be a sailor when I retire. He shook that notion from his head and watched Kakashi and Naruto get off of the boat. You're welcome on our ship anytime, boy. Come back soon, kid. Did you ever think of being a sailor on this ship? Naruto turned around and growled at the sailors bidding him farewell. Fuck you, you lazy bastards. My ass, I'm getting back on this ship. Shit, you should be paying me. Naruto grumbled down the boardwalk as he sat on a bench next to Shikamaru, who was staring at clouds, and Tayuya, who was sucking in wind to kick the seasickness out of her system. The redhead with a colorful vocabulary turned to Naruto with a questioning look. What pissed you off so damn badly, shithead? Naruto glared at the ship of still waving sailors. Well, if you weren't up chucking overboard for 3 days, you would know that I pretty much made up all of the physical labor of the ship. How else do you think we all got on? I think I can captain my own ship now with as much practice doing everything as I've got now. Kashi walked up with an eye smile. All right, team, let's get moving. We can get a good start towards the land of water now if we leave immediately. All three kids groaned as they stood up, getting a raised eyebrow from the scarecrow. What's wrong with all of you? Tayuya rubbed her stomach. I saw everything I ate for the past 3 days twice. And now we're probably going to be running. Shikamaru rubbed the back of his neck. This mission is going to get troublesome and you seem way too eager to get started with it. Naruto glared back at the ship they had all disembarked from. I just did the equivalent of an entire ship's work without pay for the past 3 days, and as you can see, I'm absolutely ecstatic about that. Kakashi I smiled. You know what can fix all of that? Getting a move on. Come on, kids, let's go. Kakashi marched off with the three Chunin following behind. So, Kakashi-sensei, we're here to basically commence with espionage on Kiri, more or less, right? Kakashi's eyes were on his orange book while he traversed the misty roads of the country, leading his team. Yes, Shikamaru. Why do you ask? Naruto sighed as he kept his eyes peeled for trouble along with Shikamaru and Tayuya. I don't know, Kakashi-sensei. Maybe he was compelled to ask due to the fact that we're out in the open for all to see. Naruto gestured widely around himself. This is what I was talking about before my Chunin test. Are we supposed to be ninja? Why the fuck are we out in the open in what could be a hostile environment? Kakashi sighed and shut his book. Naruto, Kirigakuri is home to some of the best sensor ninja in the elemental nations. If we tried that and were caught, it could cause a war between our villages. And with both of our countries being weakened by war so recently, it would leave us open to attack from one of the more opportunistic villages elsewhere. Basically, blatant, flat-out espionage, like what you're suggesting would start the next Great War. Naruto's sweat dropped and looked away, point taken. So why are we going to Kiri again? Kashi smiled at Naruto. Well, the new Mizukage is instituting something of an open-door policy to the village until everything is back on the up and up. Mostly so that immigrants and others that Kiri will need to help rebuild and regain some stability can enter the area easily. It's a pretty double-edged sword. Tayuya chuckled. Orochi didn't have that kind of thing going for Odo, that's for damn sure. Not particularly the most pleasant place ever fucking devised. Naruto smirked. Oh, I know. Naruto met Tayuya's eyes as the two of them shared a silent laugh with one another. Shikamaru rolled his shoulder with one arm. So what exactly are we looking for? I think Naruto is kind of right. If we get caught looking around where we shouldn't, we can get busted, and I don't think Chunin-level ninja get diplomatic immunity. You might, Kakashi-sensei, because you're a jonin, but the rest of us are screwed if this goes south. Kakashi nodded. True. Which is why we are really trolling for secrets or anything, just a basic layout of the land. Like I said, any reliable information on Kiri at all, even if it's just an estimation of how big the village is, would be useful. Shikamaru sighed in realization. So you're basically saying that we're supposed to be tourists? Kakashi chided Shikamaru's dismissal of his role. Ah. The word you want to use is diplomats, Shikamaru. Shikamaru rolled his eyes. Fine. We're here to be diplomats then? Naruto laughed at Shikamaru's expression. Yeah, you guys are meant to be tourists. I'm here for the real deal. Iro-sang said that Kirigakure was the birthplace of Akatsuki. How else would I be able to find out anything about them? I'll be damned if just sit pretty and wait for them to come to me. Alright everyone, ship up, we'll be at Kiri within the hour. Kakashi snapped his book shut. All of you. These people are going to be on edge. Shikamaru, keep an eye on everything. You're the smartest of the three of you, and being able to piece together anything that seems off will be paramount. Tayuya, do not antagonize these people. They just spent the last several years fighting a war with their own people. A fresh foreign Chunin would just piss them off. Naruto, make yourself scarce. Naruto saluted Kakashi and shunshined out of the lineup. Tayuya and Shikamaru both had their jaws dropped as Kakashi walked along like nothing had happened at all. Tayuya pointed at the spot where Naruto had stood just a moment ago, leaves signifying his past presence. Wait, what the fuck just happened here? Shikamaru mumbled and followed after Kakashi. Troublesome. 6 hours later, Kirigakure hotel room. Alright Kakashi, where the fuck did shithead go? Tayuya hadn't calmed down since she walked into the village. Shikamaru had made sure to keep a body between himself and her at all times, namely Kakashi's body. For self-preservation purposes. Why did you split him off? It doesn't make any sense. Shikamaru was standing by the door. She's right. Why did he come all this way to Kiri just to bug out right before we got here? And why didn't you tell us? Kakashi was laying on the bed, little orange book in hand. Sigh, my cute little Chunin certainly don't like to leave things as they are, do they? Kakashi flipped a page and acted aloof as usual. Naruto has an alternate objective from us that in truth really has absolutely nothing to do with Kiri at all. As long as I state that we have another coming in a few days, we should be seeing him very soon. And if we don't, well, I'm sure he'll reach us somehow. Tayuya felt like grinding her teeth together, but where did he go? He just up and left the moment you gave him the cue to go. Shikamaru now had something else to think about. The way he up and left without a trace was way too smooth for a Chunin, let alone a rookie Chunin in his second year as a ninja. And secondary objectives? What kind of things are you into, Naruto? Kakashi sighed as he saw the look of pondering on Shikamaru's face and decided to run damage control. Fine. Naruto is on his way to the land of waves as we speak. Kakashi clenched his teeth under his mask, waiting for the outburst. What? Tayuya felt like strangling Kakashi now. Why the fuck would you let him go off by himself to a whole nother country? Why the fuck is he even there in the first place? Kakashi lowered his book and met Tayuya's gaze with one eye. Locked on her seriously? That is Naruto's business. If you need to know, or if he wants you to know, he'll tell you when we meet up again. Until then, drop it and get ready to record what you see tomorrow. But Kakashi's eye narrowed. He'll be back before you know it. If anything happens to him, I'll know. 2 days later, shores of the land of waves. And then they made me their king. Naruto finished to a group of sailors huddled around him. The grizzled sea hand sat silently as the boy finished up his story. It seems that all of the other animals in the Forest of Death really don't like those bastard spiders I told you about either. Those stupid things are actually the reason why everything in there is so damn vicious and oversized. They needed to be just to survive. They were absolutely delighted when they found out I'd been killing them for sport for months. Naruto was starting to get unnerved by the stares from the bigger men. Okay, well, I've got to go. Places to see and people to do, you know. Naruto sighed under his breath as he left the ship. God, Todd. Sailors are weird. They all stared after him before one turned to the rest of them. That was the kid that saved this place, wasn't it? Another sailor pointed. Okay, after hearing that shit I have to say. The thought of the kid saving the country from one fat bald midget with a superiority complex doesn't seem too far-fetched anymore. Naruto quickly made his way to the outskirts of the port town while his ever-present companion sounded off. You're really reaching for a way to control me, aren't you, kid? Do you think going to this place is going to give you any advantages when the time comes? Naruto frowned. It doesn't matter whether it does or not. I have to try. Unless you feel like being generous and fighting me blind and with your back paws bound, then I'm not going to win. If you weren't full strength anyway, I don't think I would want the victory. Naruto bared his teeth. And besides, either way I get to find out something about myself, so who cares? I still can't believe I convinced Kakashi to let me go. Kyuubi scoffed in his head. Oh, please, kid. That man is a sentimental sucker when it comes to anything regarding your parents. All you had to do was what you did and seem curious about your origins. Naruto smirked but put a serious look back on his face. Do you think Kakashi can dig anything up about Akatsuki before I get there? Kyuubi rumbled lowly from inside his head. Kid, I don't think either of you could dig anything up. If your pervert of a godfather couldn't come up with any kind of info, what makes you think you and the Cyclops can? Face it, you're stuck waiting until you get attacked. That will be your only chance. Naruto shook his head. I can't believe that. I won't. I'm not going to sit and wait around for the best shinobi from every corner of the world to come knocking at the front gate asking for me. We know what they want, we know what it takes for them to get it, and we know how many of them there are. All we don't know is how to find these fuckers. They've done a very good job of keeping that a secret. It's never that simple, kid. I'm telling you, going out of your way to find them all will mean nothing if you're too weak to take them down. Take the time that you have and improve. I will not be captured by anyone ever again. I'll devour you when you challenge me for control, and until that day, you and I will be with our backs against the wall, so to speak. So, I'll say this. After we're done here, you need to get your shit together, Ninjin. Fight for me, fight for yourself, fight for your mission, get strength for these reasons, and for all of the people that have put their necks on the line to keep you alive and gotten you this far. Naruto sighed and spoke out loud, seeing as he was alone and running across the countryside. Let's just find this place before nightfall. We only have a small window of time to get what I need and get back to Kiri to link back up with the team. Hey, Kakashi and company. Kakashi walked out of the main building where the Mizukage's office was situated with a dumbfounded look evident in his one visible eye. That was the Mizukage? Oh, sweet God, she's perfect. And I could swear she was hitting on me. Kakashi put his features back to normal and started to think, though that kid with the sword kept glaring at me like I stole something. Weird. There's probably a story there or something. Shikamaru and Tayuya met up with Kakashi outside where he left them for his meeting. So, Kakashi-sensei, why were you looking all gobsmacked just now coming out of the building? Tayuya followed up. Yeah? Are we getting kicked out of Kiri or what? Shikamaru shook his head at the negative mindset of the girl. Kakashi smiled and waved it off. Oh, nothing at all. Just some elite, high-ranking ninja stuff. Nothing you all need to concern yourselves with. Kakashi took the lead, orange pervert book out in front of his face for the world to see, and planned to lead the team around the village when Tayuya saw something hanging from his back pocket. Moving with the quickness, Tayuya snatched a piece of paper from the pocket of Kakashi. What the hell is this? Shikamaru peered over her shoulder to see just what had caught his former enemy's interest. Shikamaru's eyes widened as he read over what Tayuya had taken. No way is that. Tayuya looked up at Kakashi with wide eyes. This is the Mizukage's personal information. Address, full name, and… are those her measurements? Shikamaru had a small nosebleed after reading that part. How the fuck did you get this shit? Kakashi turned around to his young charges and returned the paper to his pocket, with what they had to believe was a stupid grin under his mask. Ah, she must have slipped it in my pocket when I left. I knew that wasn't some kind of traditional Kirigakura farewell. He scratched the back of his head sheepishly before shrugging. I'm Kakashi Hatake, and that's all you need to know about that. Turning back around, he motioned for the two to follow him. Come on, this is a rare opportunity for kids like you. We have a foreign village to see. Shikamaru shook his head. Why is everyone on Team 7 so confusing? First Sasuke goes clinically insane and goes to Orochimaru. Then Naruto runs through our entire graduating class like a hot knife through butter, and now Kakashi is getting hookups in. That whole team is a big pain in the ass. With Naruto, unknown area in the land of waves, Naruto kept a frantic pace as he tried to arrive at his destination before midnight. Man, I feel like a real heel for not going to see Inari, Tsunami, and Tazuna, but this is for business, not pleasure. I'll try and catch up with them soon. I wonder what they'll say when they see me. Naruto was broken from his musing when a flock of bats swarmed in his face. No matter how he tried to shoo them away, they stayed in his personal space until he had to stop entirely. Fuck off! Naruto grabbed one of the bats only to be surprised when it melted into ink. Finally taking notice of the situation, Naruto saw that the bats were black and white. What the fuck? Naruto thought to himself as he began pummeling the bats and reducing them to ink. Ink. Ink? A roar drew Naruto's attention to see two black and white lions bearing down on him. Naruto drew his sword and ran at them. The first one tried a direct pounce that Naruto avoided by sliding under on his knees. The second lion rushed Naruto in his moment of recoil from the slide before he could make it to his feet. Naruto ended up driving the blade right into the lion's maw, turning it to a puddle of ink. The first lion slashed at Naruto's back with its claws only to be blocked by Naruto's ninjato. However, the lion's raw power against Naruto, who was off balance and defending from his back, sent him flying across the area. Naruto recovered and rolled to his feet, glaring at the artificial beast. All right. Time to slay this overgrown kitty and find the asshole pulling the strings out here. Naruto made a stutter-step motion to feint the lion into attacking and cut the lion in half with his sword, smearing ink all over it. Now alone in the area, he turned his senses abroad to search for any sign of exactly who was after him. A rustle of the breeze caught Naruto's attention as he rushed off in a seemingly random direction. He eventually came upon the form of Sai, sitting in a tree with his scroll sitting in his lap and a brush in his hand. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the rude agent and cleared his throat. Sai, I wish I could say it was nice to see you, but it would be a bald-faced lie. Especially after just getting attacked. Those animals were yours, I assume? Sai smiled that Naruto obviously knew was fake. Jumping down from his branch, he landed in front of Naruto and rolled his scroll back up. Yes, Naruto. I had to make sure you weren't getting rusty, and I've honestly wanted to fight you for quite a while now. Naruto looked Sai over. Hey, you're my age. Why don't I remember ever seeing you around? Sei's face returned to its dull, normal, emotionally devoid look. You never worked on a team. Danzo-sama always had you work solo. And besides, no one in Root knew each other that weren't regular partners. I had my own. Other than that, I did not appear until I was 9, right before your ill-fated mission to Otogakura. Naruto nodded. It sounded about right. Okay, now why are you here? Did you just want to drop in and see your old buddy Naruto? Naruto finished with a grin. Sai simply stared at him, blinking. Naruto dropped the grin from his face. Okay, whatever. Seriously, Sai, what do you want? Sai's fake smile surfaced once again. You should know the answer to that, Naruto. After all, I'm the main reason you're even here in the first place. Flashback. The night after Naruto's return from the Land of Moon. Naruto sat meditating in the Forest of Death, slowly dragging the Kyuubi's chakra out of the seal. God damn it. This seal isn't meant for me to use Kyuubi's chakra the way I want to. At least not as it is. It's like I'm missing something. Iro Sign's holding something out on me. Again. Well, after our first little smattering about seals, he shouldn't try any mischief with them, especially now that I'm learning about them. Naruto heard rustling in the trees moving towards him rapidly. Naruto sighed and drew his sword from his back as he stood up and cracked his neck. Come on down. On cue, a blur burst into his vicinity, followed by two other significantly larger blurs. Naruto moved into the path of the first blur as it jumped over him, and channeled wind chakra to his blade to slash twice at the attacking blurs moving right for him. A splattering of guts let Naruto know that he had just killed two more spiders. You have the same elemental affinity as Donzo-sama, I see. Naruto recognized the voice as Sai, the boy he had met while he had been training with Jiraiya. Sai had his tanto drawn, but upon seeing Naruto deal with his assailants, he placed it back into its sheath. Turning around, he swung his sword to clear the guts from the blade before setting the dull side on his shoulder. Hi there, Sai. Did you have fun tracking me down? Sai let out a sigh to let him know just how tired he was. It wasn't the tracking you part that was difficult. However, fighting through all of those spiders was a tiring endeavor. Naruto grinned and nodded. Never been in the Forest of Death before? Welcome to my world. Now I hope you didn't brave the treacherous nightlife of our little slice of hell on earth just because you missed me, Sai. Sai blinked dully, humorous. Now I actually have come with something that may interest you. Danzo-sama is aware of your issue with utilizing the Kyuubi's chakra. Naruto cut him off right there with a serious expression. Wait, how does Donzo Gigi know about that? Naruto thought about it and palmed his face and raised his hand before Sai could speak. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I know how he knows. God, if you guys weren't on my side. Sai's fake smile surfaced again. We have information on a place you might be interested in knowing about. A lost village that went by the name of the village hidden in the whirling tides. Naruto's raised eyebrow signified his interest. Go on. Sai did as asked. This village was well known for its proficiency in sealing jutsu, one clan above the rest in particular. Naruto rolled his eyes. I can tell Danzo Gigi had an active hand in training you. You both have that annoying penchant for halfway explaining things for kicks. Get to the point already. The corpses of these stupid things are going to draw more of them any minute. Any annoyance at being cut off by his blonde predecessor was not evident on Sai's face. It was your clan, the Uzumaki clan of which I speak. The entire village was so feared for its skill in the difficult art they were wiped from the map in war. The lost country it was situated in was known as the Land of Whirlpools. As it turns out, your surname used to be synonymous in the shinobi world with seals. Naruto frowned. So this place is lost? I've never even seen that place on a map. Sai shook his head. Yes, you have. In fact, you've been there yourself in the past, whether you knew it or not. Upon the fall of Uzu no Kuni, it was renamed. You now know of this land as the Land of Waves. Naruto stood in contemplative silence for a moment as he mulled around what he had just learned in his head. As per the course, Naruto took up the topic with his unwilling life partner. You fucking knew this already, didn't you? Kyuubi simply awoke for a moment and yawned. Nope, not I. Naruto scoffed out loud. Bullshit. You pretty much waved it in my face all the time. So what do you have to say for yourself, Kyuubi? Kyuubi? Kyuubi. These damn you, Kyuubi. You miserable big fuzzy asshole. Wake your ass up so I can rant at you. Sai simply waited patiently while Naruto dealt out his inner monologue. Naruto eventually gave up and focused on the pale boy in front of him. Alright, so I actually do have a clan. We had a different village, and then it got wasted by people that were afraid of our sealing skills. Well, that settles it. I'm going to the land of waves the first chance I get. There's too much I can get out of heading down there to just let this slip my mind. In flashback, Naruto stroked his chin. This is true. Naruto pointed at the pale teen with a deadpan expression. Don't smile like that. You look like you're about to start some international bullshit when you give me that look. Who the fuck are trying to fool with that shit anyway? Sai dropped the smile. I am trying to learn about emotions so that I may be more useful on the outside, much like yourself. So that I may support you in your endeavor to become Hokage when the time comes. Naruto sighed and placed a hand on Sai's shoulder. Wow, Danzo really broke you like the rest of them, didn't he? I see you and I have a lot to work on. But that's okay. Naruto-senpai has got your back. He looked around, and now I'm lost. I presume you're here to tag along with me for whatever reason, correct? AI nodded. Naruto looked around. Okay. It couldn't hurt, I guess. Well, since you were waiting for me, I assume you know the rest of the way. Sai turned around and started walking off. That is right, Naruto-senpai. I have coordinates of the former location of Ozushogakure. Naruto gave him an amused look. Really? Did you really just call me Naruto-senpai? Seriously? Sai stopped walking and turned around. Yes, I did. I realize that you are technically correct. You are my senpai in truth. You have more experience than me, not just en route, but as a ninja overall. So it is only appropriate that I refer to you as my senpai. Naruto wiped a fake tear from his eye and wrapped an arm around Sai's shoulder. That was beautiful, Saikai. I think this will be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Naruto looked around before sweat dropping. So where do we go now? Sai pulled himself from Naruto's grip and turned around to walk in the other direction. We're heading the wrong way, Naruto-senpai. Follow me. Naruto frowned and slunk behind. You know what, Kohai? I don't like your attitude. A hidden location in the vicinity of Ameyagakura. A figure standing in the dark of a cave looked out amid the rainy plains of the country he sought to gain control over. This is too good of an opportunity to pass up. Konoha's Jinchuriki will undoubtedly be the most well-guarded of the 9. Rumors have him placed on the island nation of the Land of Waves, too far for any assistance from his allies in Konoha. I have Zetsu following up on this lead. Upon confirmation of his location, I will dispatch agents to capture him while the chance is opportune. The sound of a woman's voice sounded in the chamber. Yes, Pain-sama. As you wish. A pair of legendary eyes shone through the darkness of the cave. It is only a matter of time until my will shall be carried out. The world will know the true meaning of pain, and I will be known as the god that will lead this world to peace, one way or another. Tayuya let out a huff as she, Kakashi, and Shikamaru sat in restaurant after finishing another day of information gathering, which was pretty much them being tourists. Looking around at the lazy Jonin and the lazier Chunin, she felt her temper slipping. All right, Kakashi. Seriously, can you tell us when Shithead is getting back? At least if he were here, this would be mildly entertaining somehow. Kakashi let out a sigh. She had been asking him about this for the last 3 days. Tayuya, for the 10,000th time. He'll come back when he comes back. I'll know when he's on his way and I'll let you all know. Tayuya grumbled and crossed her arms. Shithead! He'd better have a damn solid excuse for ditching us here like this. Shikamaru yawned. Whatever, you troublesome woman. All I know is that this is my kind of mission. No fighting, no running around, just relaxing and doing nothing. Maybe I should try and go on more missions with Naruto and Kakashi-sensei more often. Kakashi smiled at Shikamaru. See Tayuya? Shikamaru has the right idea here. Tayuya let out an undignified groan and dropped her head on the table with a thud. 2 fast-moving blurs shot through the brush, one following the other. They were moving swiftly through the wilderness of the Land of Waves in a specific general direction. Naruto kept close on Sai's heels as they ran further into the country. Hey, Sai Kuhai! I kind of figured that a village name for whirlpools would be by the ocean or something. Sai kept a dull look on his face as he led the blonde Chunin along. It would seem like the most logical place, Naruto-senpai. That's why it isn't anywhere on the coast. Uzushio-gakure was actually one of the villages that were hard to find. Naruto nodded in understanding as he kept up with the route shinobi. So you've got the terrain memorized completely? That's actually very impressive. I haven't seen you pull out a map once. A map would have been too dangerous to bring Naruto-senpai. Sai admitted as they continued on. Remember, there can be little to no evidence of your relationship with Danzo-sama, other than to those that already know. And even then, it would be far better if they didn't know that you were still in contact with us. Naruto could only imagine the shitstorm that would commence if Tsunade or Jiraiya found out that he was still in contact with Danzo. There was no way that Naruto could convince them that Danzo was simply doing the duty he swore himself to doing when he said he would protect Konoha. If he came to them with that argument, they would just say that Danzo had brainwashed him like the rest of Root when he was a child, and that would be that. He would be locked in a cell, or even worse, sealed again. Naruto liked being able to think clearly and logically, thank you. Naruto's thoughts wandered towards the capabilities of Sai. He didn't know how good he really was. Chances were he was probably better in practice than the majority of the other ninja his age, as Danzo would never have made him his contact if he wasn't. He still had no idea what Sai could do. He figured that Sai was able to draw animals and bring them to life, as evident by the attack he launched when Naruto was unaware of his presence. But what else could he do? Now wasn't the time for that. He was searching for something. Sai was helping. He had more important issues to think on. What would be waiting in Uzushiogakur? Would anything even still be standing? Does Sai really even know where he's going? Keeping his thoughts to himself, he followed his paler root companion. We are close, Naruto-senpai. Naruto frowned. How do you know Saikuhai? They jumped through one last patch of overgrowth before coming to a massive valley. Sai gave Naruto a fake smile. I just do. Naruto's sweat dropped. I can see that. Within the valley there lied Uzushogakura. Not far from where Naruto and Sai stood there was a waterfall leading to a massive river that split cleanly through the village. On the other side of the valley there was another waterfall doing the same. In the center of the village there was a whirlpool where the two directly conflicting waterways met. Around the whirlpool were four massive cylindrical buildings at least 100 feet off of the ground, while what used to be houses and other assorted buildings dotted the landscape around them. Naruto sighed. Well, shall we? Sai nodded, and the two jumped into the valley to begin their search. As they walked along the remains of the ruined village, Naruto routinely created shadow clones, while Sai drew an ink rat to go with them to investigate places of interest. Sai and Naruto kept moving towards the center of the village to the massive cylindrical buildings in the middle of the village. Naruto whistled as they continued on. This place is huge. When did this village fall? It's just as big as Konoha. Sai kept his eyes peeled as well for anything to pay attention to. It fell during the Second Great Shinobi War. This village had many enemies. The war opened with Tsunagakure, Ameagakure, and Iwagakure temporarily combining forces to sack the village all at once. This brought Konoha into the war to defend its ally, however it was too late. Your clan had been scattered to the winds and the village was destroyed. Naruto frowned. That's a very morbid breakdown of what happened, Saikuhai. We need to work on you sugarcoating stuff like that. If it wasn't me, and I wasn't used to you root guys talking like that, that might have creeped me out. Sai didn't spare Naruto a glance. Naruto-senpai, those were the facts. Uzushigakure was destroyed by a combined effort of two of the 5 great shinobi nations, and one minor one. However, that village is led by Salamander Hanzo, perhaps the strongest man alive today. Bullshit. Naruto almost jumped at the Kyuubi's timely interjection into the conversation. What do you mean, Kyuubi? I know Hanzo. He beat Iro Kyofu, Tsunade Bakan, and an Orochi team at the same time back in the day. That seems pretty damn strong to me. Why would he not be? The Kyuubi huffed, because the strongest man alive definitely isn't Salamander Hanzo. Hanzo is a gnat compared to the man that is truly the most powerful. You've got to go further back into your history for that. It laid down on its haunches and yawned. You're not even close to who the strongest is, Ningen. Naruto rolled his eyes. Whatever, Fuzzy, he's old as hell. He was old when he fought the Sannin, and he's still considered the best. Why won't you just tell me who it really is already so we can end this conversation? Kyubi growled lowly from inside Naruto's mind. Because I intend to kill the strongest man alive myself. I truly hope you challenge me before you run across him so that, after I kill and devour you, I can take out my anger on him. Naruto thought once again of his fated battle with the Kyubi. Why do you have to be so angry all of the time? Why can't you just help me? I've done everything I can reasonably do for you without letting you go since it would kill me. And I couldn't do it anyway. Not to mention the fact that if I did, you would utterly annihilate Konoha. Kyubi shut its eyes. No, I wouldn't. Naruto raised an eyebrow, getting the attention of Sai, but he was busy at the moment. Wait, what? Run that by me again? I don't think I heard you correctly. Kyubi bared its teeth at Naruto's disbelief. You heard me, Ningen. If I were released and weren't already directly in your puny village, I wouldn't touch it. I have more important things to worry about than the weak mortals that populate your town. Naruto thought about that. He figured the Kyubi would raze Konoha to the ground regardless just for shits and giggles. There was something out there more important to him than destroying the place that had been his prison for years. Not only that, but whoever this person was that the Kyubi was talking about had him convinced that he was going to be in Naruto's future somehow. Naruto-senpai, are you alright? Naruto snapped back into the real world from his thoughts by the emotionless voice of Sai. Naruto-senpai. Do you need to rest? You were just walking ahead blankly when I tried getting you to stop. I thought I would have to do something physical to get you to stop. Naruto grinned sheepishly. Sorry, Kohai. It was a conversation between me and the fox, nothing but Jinchuriki stuff, you know. Sai nodded. Come on, we've arrived at the main buildings. Sai entered through doors that were blown off of the opening, leaving Naruto outside. Seeing a brat like that makes me glad that I got sealed inside of you. I can just imagine the kid's head being a wall of white. The Kyubi cringed. Then I really would be pissed. Naruto mentally agreed with his tenant and followed Sai inside to keep up the search. The inside was worse than the outside. Despite looking relatively sturdy and intact, it was a wreck on the inside. Naruto's whistle echoed throughout as he looked around the main, massive room. Man, Father Time sure took a sledgehammer to this place, didn't he? It can't be helped, Naruto-senpai. Sai appeared behind Naruto. This general area was clearly where the defenders made their last stand. With these buildings still intact, it must have been an amazing battle. Naruto raised an eyebrow at his sudden appearance. Were you just waiting behind the front door to try and scare the shit out of me when I came in or something? Sai looked at him blankly. Never mind. And if this is where the last stand was made, then where are the bodies? Blood? Weapons? Anything. I mean, yeah, this place is beat the hell up, but other than that I don't see any sign of past warfare. The room was basically a large chamber. It had an ornate spiral symbol in the center of the room with a spiral staircase on the walls. The stairs were collapsed, however. No big deal, nothing a little wall walking couldn't fix. Naruto turned towards Sai and pointed up where there was a ledge with a large ornate door on it. Shall we then? Sai and Naruto channeled chakra to their feet and began running up the wall, until they were forcefully shoved backwards with a burst of energy. A ceiling array appeared on the wall as the building began to shake, and a wall sealed off the entrance. The boys looked around rapidly. Shit, Sai. Please tell me the building isn't coming down. My luck cannot be that bad, there's just no way. Sai had a bead of sweat going down his face. It should have been expected. A mistake on both of our parts. We should have figured that a village feared for its forays and sealing jutsu would have set some traps for intruders. Any use of our chakra must have triggered it. The floor opened up, forcing the two to jump back as a statue emerged from the opening by way of an elevator. The elevator was covered in blood, as were parts of the statue, signifying what had happened to any of the attackers. Naruto and Sai were prepared for combat, however the statue did not move. It was an elaborate statue 40 feet high of a bearded man with long hair, and an Uzushogakure forehead protector as well as old armor reminiscent of the days of the first Hokage. It simply stood in a still pose. Naruto looked at Sai and shrugged. So, what? Are we just supposed to sit here and admire the pretty statue until we die of old age in here? Maybe that's how they killed the invaders. Locked them in here with their big stone guy here and bored them to death. Sai shook his head. Do not let your guard down, Naruto-senpai. We are still in grave danger here. Naruto scoffed. I know, Sai Kuhai. It's just that when I say stupid things like that, it's like I piss off some deity with direct control over the random shit that happens to me. I just said that so that something cool would happen and then we could move along. Sai sweat dropped. So you're intentionally provoking a negative situation because you're impatient? Naruto glared at him. I do have a previous engagement that I need to attend to. If I'm gone for too long and my team gets back to Konoha without me, I could be declared a missing nin. We need to get the fuck out of here. How we're going to do that is another question entirely. The wall apparently repels chakra. Sai nodded. Using chakra again in here might trigger another trap, perhaps one with fatal ramifications this time. Naruto looked at Sai with a dry expression. Maybe it's me. Sai looked around the room for anything of relevance. What is you, Naruto-senpai? Naruto groaned in disappointment. It is me. Bad stuff always happens to me and the people around me on missions. If I get a C rank, I might as well pack as if it would be bumped up to a ranked because chances are it will be. Naruto looked at his hands and sighed. We have to do it, Sei. There's no way we're getting out of here any other way, especially if this wall repels chakra. Sai frowned and pulled out his drawing scroll. Are you sure? This could be putting us in unnecessary danger. Naruto and Sai both looked at the still statue. What are the odds that I'm just being paranoid? Sai placed his brush in his fingers. There is no such thing as being paranoid to a shinobi, Naruto-senpai. Right. He placed his hands in a ram seal. You ready? Sai looked unsure of Naruto's actions but nodded. Naruto took a deep breath. Okay, let the sparks fly. He channeled his chakra into a hard outward pulse. At first nothing happened, but the sound of stone sliding against stone started ringing out. Sai's eyes widened as the statue began to move slowly from its position. I knew that was going to happen. What exactly was your plan? Naruto shrugged and drew his sword. I don't know. I was winging it. I cannot be held responsible for the things that I do in the heat of battle. Did you have any better ideas? AI sighed. We weren't even fighting when you came up with that asinine idea. Naruto rolled his eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. You probably had a much better idea, huh? Yeah, your idea probably would have made my idea look stupid, right? Shut up and fight or get squashed, Kohai. The two were forced to dodge as the statue lowered a massive foot on their previous position. The guardian statue turned its head towards them with an audible sliding noise as the stone slabs comprising its body parts rubbed against themselves. Sai and Naruto looked at each other before Naruto nodded and rushed in with his sword, charging it with wind chakra to cleave the golem's head off. Sai stayed back and began drawing on his scroll. Super Beast's imitation picture. Lines of ink emerged from Sai's scroll and began stalking the statue down. The statue simply looked at them and destroyed them with a swing of its hand. Naruto's sweat dropped at the display. Sai, ink won't hurt the damn thing. You gotta have another jutsu you can do, right? Sai shrugged and pointed at the statue that had targeted Naruto. It was now gearing up to swing on him. Naruto cursed and dodged as the massive fist hit the ground and shook the building. Naruto jumped at the statue's head with wind chakra circulating around his sword. However, when he made contact with the statue's neck, a seal array appeared on the area that he made contact with and repelled him violently. Naruto bounced across the ground and stood up with his head swimming. Damn it. The statue has the same seal on it that the walls do. It will just absorb any of the jutsu that we launch at it. Please tell me you have something that can break stone. Sai shook his head and Naruto once again cursed and dodged another fisticuff from the statue. Damn it, Sai. Some backup would be nice at the very least. Sai shrugged again and pointed again as Naruto heard stone sliding once more. Naruto turned. Fuck. The statue actually had a fully functional stone sword on its back that it had just unsheathed. Naruto reached into his pack and pulled out a roll of explosive notes that he chucked over to Sai. The pale ninja snatched them up out of mid-air and took one that he wrapped in a kunai and threw at the statue. It simply bounced off with the explosion being set off in its face. What is this damn thing made of? Naruto wondered, as he dodged the first strike of the behemoth's sword and ran at it again. He formed a swirling blue ball of chakra in his hand and launched at it. Rasengan! Once again he bounced off of the stone figure as a seal array appeared on its body. Naruto fell next to Sai and picked himself up again. What are we going to do, Sai? We can't escape. We can't use ninjutsu. And if it can take an explosive tag to the face and walk right through it, I'm not strong enough to crack that stone without doing something that will hurt you. That is, if it even works. All that would probably happen is I'll get my demonic chakra absorbed. Sai shut his eyes in thought as the statue lumbered back over to them. Sai's eyes snapped open as he turned to Naruto. Naruto-senpai, how good are you at sealing jutsu? Naruto's eyes flickered back and forth from the statue to Sai. I don't know. Only Iro-sang is able to properly gauge my skill, and I haven't seen him in a while. Why? Sai started drawing again on his scroll. What if you were able to get a good look at that array? Could you think of something to break it? Naruto tapped his chin in thought. I don't know, it's worth a shot though. What do you have in mind? Set didn't answer, and finished his drawing. Super Beast's imitation picture. A mass of bats came out of his scroll and began flying around the statue's head, not making contact, however. The statue stopped and tried swatting at the bats, far too slowly to actually take them out. Naruto took advantage of the distraction and made a dozen shadow clones, sending them all on a one-way trip to the towering stone figure. The second the first shadow clone made contact with the statue, it dispelled as the seal array formed. Naruto whipped out a scroll and a brush as the array vanished. The array appears for 4 seconds at a time. Run into him at 4-second intervals. The clones all nodded and did as was commanded while the statue was stuck being distracted by Sai's ink bats. As the array appeared on the golem's body, Naruto quickly copied it down just as his last Kige Bunshin dispelled. Sai, can you give me some time to work this out? I need to figure out what went into this thing's seal. Sai nodded and made a hand sign. All of the bats that were flying around the statue melted into ink all over its face, blinding it. The golem started swinging its sword wildly as it searched for the 2 root-trained ninja. Naruto kept out of the golem's range, as did Sai. Eventually, Naruto's eyes lit up as he quickly wrote on a seal tag. Naruto placed his stuff away and looked at the statue with a determined expression. Naruto channeled chakra to his feet to activate the seal in the room and alert the statue to his location. As it turned, Naruto placed his fists together. Wind release. Divine Fist of the Wind God. Naruto shot off the ranged wind jutsu and hit the golem flush, just as the seal array appeared once again. Naruto rushed in at full speed and slapped a tag right on the array right before placing another on himself. Ealing technique! Dominance of personality! Naruto and the statue were covered in a dull yellow glow that barely covered both of their bodies. Naruto smirked as his glow began to shine brighter while the statue's own faded out of existence. He moved his arm, and surely the arm of the statue moved in exactly the same manner. Naruto let out a victorious whoop of joy. Saikuhai, get over here. Quick! I don't know how long this will last for. Sai did as he was requested and stood by Naruto's side. Naruto began to walk towards the statue as it began walking towards him. Sai felt apprehensive about approaching the murderous stone effigy, but since Naruto was doing it, he followed. Naruto made a scooping motion, directing the statue to pick them up. Going up? Naruto cocked his hand back, as did the statue before he launched it forward, sending him and Sai flying up towards the top of the tower to the area where the ornate door was located. Naruto and Sai ended up smacking the door hard and breaking the decrepit metal door down. Naruto and Sai picked themselves up as Naruto made a one-handed ram seal. Kai! Once again, he glowed yellow before it faded. Sai dusted himself off. What was that, Naruto-senpai? Naruto cracked his back. It's a new seal of mine. I read that real sealing jutsu masters come up with their own stuff, so I made my own. I was going to test it in front of Shikamaru to piss him off, but here was just as good a time as any to use it right. It forces the wills of the recipients into a struggle. The winner ends up with temporary control over the other's body. Sai nodded. Are you sure you should have released it? Naruto waved off his concern. What the fuck is it going to do all the way down there? The sounds of stone hitting the ground reattracted their attention to the statue below as they saw it pick itself off of the ground and try climbing the wall. It only made it slightly off of the ground before dropping back down onto its back. It then repeated the process. Naruto's sweat dropped at the sight. Let's get the hell out of here. He pointed at a bridge linking one tower to the next. The two dashed from their first location to their next destination as the sounds of the statue attempting to pursue them sounded out. Kirigakure. Tayuya sat on the edge of a cliff on one of Kiri's surrounding mountains, looking out at the village while simply playing her flute in boredom. She looked over at Shikamaru, who was sprawled out on the ground, staring up expressionlessly. Kakashi had told them to scope out surrounding areas and vantage points of the village that they could get away with seeing. Tayuya could feel the Anbu watching them but paid them no real mind. They weren't really doing anything wrong. While they had been off doing that, Kakashi had some Kakashi stuff, as he dubbed it, to attend to elsewhere. Tayuya finished up a song and looked up with Shikamaru. How fucking long are we going to be here? I want to go home already. This is boring. Shikamaru remained silent, staring at the clouds, apparently ignoring Tayuya. The redhead got a tick mark on her head. Are you listening to me, you lazy bastard? I'm trying to speak to you here. Shikamaru sighed. I know that. But I don't have the answer to your question or anything that I could say to make you feel better. It would be too troublesome to try and rack my brain to come up with something. Tayuya placed her cheeks in her hands. Shithead would have tried. Shikamaru groaned in apathy. It's always shithead this or shithead that. You haven't stopped asking or talking about Naruto since he left us outside of Kiri, even when Kakashi said he wouldn't tell you anymore. If you're that worried about the guy, then chain him up when he gets back, or even better, marry the guy. He laughed to himself. Yeah, then you would have a legally binding reason to be so troublesome about him. Shikamaru then had a heel firmly planted in his stomach. Tayuya looked down at Shikamaru with her foot on his belly. Do not say that about me, and shithead. We could never work out, he's a shithead. Shikamaru spoke in a pained tone. Calling him names just shows me that you care. You might as well be calling him Naruto-kun. Who am I kidding? You probably will be calling him Naruto-kun. A grunt escaped his throat as Tayuya began stomping on him. Shut up! There's absolutely nothing between me and shithead. Shikamaru coughed with each stomp. Your mouth says no, but your heel says yes. Tayuya eventually tired of stomping on him and sat back down. Hey, you're friends with him, right? Why is he so damn good and you're so not? You're the same age, aren't you? Shikamaru readjusted himself on the ground. I don't know. 8 months ago, we were forced to fight him all at once. Everyone from our graduating class. We didn't know he was that good. He beat us all. Tayuya scoffed and chuckled. Well, I could have told you that was going to happen. You were all what? Genin? That guy was a right destroyer of men, even years before this. He made me think that all Kano had were superheroes coming out of the woodwork if a kid was as strong as he was. It just didn't seem natural. Shikamaru's attention was now firmly on Tayuya. What? Naruto was never much in the academy. It was scary seeing where all of his power came out just suddenly like that. No one can tell where it came from. Tayuya rubbed her cheek. Well, he's been like that for a while. When I first fought the bastard, he couldn't have been any older than an academy student. That was what scared me about Konoha. You know the cursed seal that the little butt pet Uchiha has? Well, we were all fighting with it on and we knew what we were doing. We were still going to lose until our fifth man showed up and took the advantage. Shikamaru was confused. How many years ago was this? Tayuya thought for a moment. I would say about 6 years, or slightly less. Shikamaru sat up abruptly. Wait, you're saying that Naruto fought you and the rest of your Odo kidnapping team when he was 8 years old? That's impossible. He first enrolled in the academy at the age of 8. Tayuya shrugged. I'm only telling you what happened. He had a weird plain white mask, but it got all carved up during the fight. The blonde hair and whisker marks were a dead giveaway when I saw him again, though. I thought I saw my life flash before my eyes when I did. I was more worried about fighting him than you and your little fat friend at the time. Shikamaru simply looked away and thought, seriously, Naruto, why do things have to be so troublesome when you're involved? Who are you? Uzushigakure, with Sai and Naruto. Naruto and Sai emerged from the top of the third tower, singed and with shallow cuts on their bodies. Naruto sighed. What the hell? That wasn't anything at all. It was like the entire top floor of the building was one big trap. Sai winced slightly as he touched a cut on his side. Maybe that was a training facility for Uzu Shinobi. It certainly worked like one. Naruto growled. Shouldn't there be some way around this stuff? We still have one more of these things to check. And with our track record, the next one might just spontaneously combust when we get within 5 feet of the entrance. After leaving the building housing the Statue of Death, Naruto and Sai entered what looked to be the administrative building. The skeletons of fallen enemy and Uzu Shinobi alike told them both that a fierce battle had gone on inside of this building. Of course, the corridors to the main office were booby-trapped, once again with a seal array that locked them inside of a long hallway and began to cook the boys alive. Naruto was luckily able to locate the seal array on one of the walls, and mentally shut out the heat roasting him alive until he could break down the seal and deactivate the trap. Naruto took notes on that seal before they left, hoping that it could be applicable elsewhere. It was a pretty nasty trap. Upon reaching the main office, they found that it had been ransacked. There was nothing. The vault was empty. Even the desk had been stripped bare. They boys then left and entered the next tower, which was basically a chakra-less run through a building filled top to bottom with a ridiculous amount of traps ranging from ceiling arrays that shot fire, collapsing floors leading to spike pits, ranged kunai and shuriken triggers, and the pool filled with water that had a live current running through it. Naruto looked up at the sky and yelled, "All I've learned in this place is that I know nothing about booby traps. How did these people get beaten again?" Sai took a moment to bandage his wound. "Should we rest before entering the final tower, Naruto-senpai? Who knows what will be in there?" Naruto nodded and sat down on the walkway, looking out at the raging whirlpool they were standing over. That is one imposing landmark. Naruto saw Sai wrapping bandages around his exposed midsection. "Are you okay? You aren't hurt too bad, are you?" "You should tell me if you are, because you don't have a 6-story fuzzy red physician in you like I do. Go fuck yourself, Ningen. Physician that." Sai grunted in affirmation. "They are just flesh wounds, senpai. I will be fine after a short rest." Naruto accepted his answer before deciding to chew the fat a bit with the boy. Sosai Kuhai. Did Danzo Gigi finally let any girls join Root, or is it still just full of dudes, because I told him about that? Sai paid close attention to his wounds as he spoke. Root has females, Naruto-senpai. Reva-san is a girl, as is Maki-san. They came up around the same time you did and are within a few years of your age. How did you not notice them? Naruto's eyes widened. What? Maki and Reva are girls? Damn it, I was never able to tell. Maki always kept her hair so short and wore baggy stuff. Reva didn't sound like a girl, nor did she have the figure at the time. And not to mention that both of them always wore those damn masks like they would lose them if they weren't attached to their faces. Sai gave Naruto a fake smile. That just means that you were more concerned with your work, Naruto-senpai. Naruto snorted in an amused fashion. I wonder if they were good-looking. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course they were. They were kunoichi. It's like a prerequisite as a ninja that all kunoichi must be at the very least cute. They're still alive, right? Sai nodded. Ever since you were captured, Danzo-sama has scaled back on our mission intake. Losing you when he did gave him a significant hit. A lot of the operations he had planned centered themselves around you. He had to revamp everything, right down to the training, to pick up the slack. Naruto frowned and looked over at the tower. I think I should sweep for traps before we go inside, since we had so much fun during the last 2 towers. Naruto made 6 shadow clones. Go in 2 at a time and scout out the building for me. The clones saluted him and ran off towards the tower in groups of 2. Naruto turned back to Sai. Are you ready to go? It's almost nightfall. Are we planning on staying outdoors or in one of these stupid towers? Before Sai could answer, a massive explosion rocked the tower. There were shadow clones eradicated in the blast, and some sent flying off of the walkway. Naruto looked at the tower in shock. I was just joking when I said it would just spontaneously combust. Well then, Kyubi Jinchuriki, you weren't caught in the first blast. It looks like you get to see a little more of my art on. Naruto and Sai looked up at the setting sun to see a man flying above them on a massive bird. He had blonde hair up in a half ponytail, one bang covering one eye. His eyes were somewhat slitted and blue in color, and he had a scratched-out Iwagakure forehead protector on his head. The most noticeable thing about him, however, was the black cloak with red clouds on it. He had only seen that on two people before, and they... Oh. Naruto kept his eyes on the flying man. Sai, what are the chances that we can get out of here? Sai pulled out his scroll. Not very good as long as he's in the air. Do you know this person, Naruto-senpai? Naruto shook his head. No. But he's wearing the same stuff that Itachi Uchiha was wearing when he attacked me. Last time they came to capture me. I'm assuming that it's much the same this time since he hasn't tried taking out the bridge and dropping us into the whirlpool yet. Sai figured his line of reasoning, so he's after the Kyuubi. Got it in one kuhai. Naruto drew the blade from his back. What are we going to do? He's long range and I can't really reach him from here. I have some distance stuff, but I doubt anything I have can hit him from here. Naruto looked around. We need room and the tops of the towers looks like a good bet, but we can't wall walk them to get up there or use chakra when in contact with them. Super Beast's imitation picture. Sai drew a pair of birds onto his scroll and made two large ink replicas that he hopped onto one of. Get on Naruto-senpai. Naruto gleefully jumped onto one of Sai's ink birds as they took off to the skies. Sai Kuhai, you can fly? Wait, why the hell did we walk all the way here then? We could have been here hours ago. Sai directed traffic with his birds. It requires chakra to do so. I do not like wasting my chakra when moving on my feet would be a much better way to save my chakra. Naruto nodded and turned his head. I've never done this before. Is this thing going to keep me safe, Kuhai? Sai gave him a fake smile. It can take 1 or 2 hits, senpai. Naruto sighed. Great. Fine. How are we getting away? Just as he said that, a voice rang out. So you're going to run, huh? I hope your art is as effective as mine. I know it isn't nearly as much of an explosion, huh? The man sent out multiple small clay birds at the boys, so I was able to maneuver out of the way and cut them down from afar. Naruto, however, had no experience moving a bird, and as such ended up surrounded by the little clay creations. The man smirked and made a single hand seal. Katsu. Naruto's eyes widened as Sai flew near him. Naruto took the chance and jumped from his own bird over to Sai's just as an explosion from the clay birds destroyed his ink bird. Naruto looked back at the man as he and Sai did their best to attempt to lose him. Who the hell are you? Does it really matter? I'm still going to catch you whether we're on a first-name basis or not, on. The man grinned amusedly. Naruto pulled out a bunch of explosive notes and began preparing his kunai with them. Well, I try to make a habit of learning the names of the people that want to suck out my bijou and leave me a soulless husk on the side of the road. The man's grin widened. I'm Deidara, the master of art of a single moment. Your friend's art cannot compare to my own, however. With the assistance of my own art, his can be something to behold, because true art is an explosion. Deidara made more claybirds descend at the boys. Sai maneuvered the ink bird to avoid the claybird. What can we do, senpai? I'm not as good at fighting in midair, and fighting like this will wear on me eventually. Naruto frowned while racking his brain. We're not long-range fighters. If he was out to kill us, he might have been able to right now instead of just trying to shoot us down. Once again, it's that S-ranked superiority complex, so let's take advantage of that. Naruto picked up one of his prepared kunai, before lobbing it at Deidara, who simply dodged it. The kunai exploded in the distance. I knew he was going to do that. Naruto had his sword in hand. Sai, get me close. Close range is our best bet right now, and he's chasing us, so that will make it easy. I looked apprehensive. Are you sure, senpai? Naruto nodded. and Sai drew his tanto in response. Very well, in we go. Sai ordered the bird around, sending it directly at Dedera. He had been reaching into his pouch of clay when he saw the boys turn their ride around and head straight towards him with their blades gleaming in the light of the moon. Deidara's eye widened. Damn brats! Oh, Naruto and Sai closed in. Both boys slashed at Deidara as they passed, but his bird was more maneuverable than theirs with only one person on it. Nice try, noticing and acknowledging that I'm a long-range fighter, UN, but if you can't hit me then it's useless. Naruto thought frantically. At this rate, they were never going to win. They weren't even going to escape. Any good ideas to get us out of this would be lovely right now, Saikuhai. Sai squinted and looked behind them at the man they just missed. Can you fly for a moment, Senpai? Naruto nodded determinedly. As long as I don't have to fly it towards him, I can. Sai nodded and handed the front over to Naruto before taking out his scroll. Sai created a bunch of bats using his jutsu and had them carry Naruto's prepared explosive kunai over to Deidara in an effort to attack. Deidara matched the explosives with some of his own, negating Sai's attack. Sai retook the front of the bird while Naruto returned to his position of man on point. He pulled out a handful of shuriken. Come on, give me something here. Lightning release. Lightning shuriken. Naruto threw his handful of shuriken over Deidara's head. Before Deidara could mock him for his shoddy aim, he was forced to dodge, as he found himself caught in a mini lightning storm as electricity dropped from the thrown shuriken, trying to take him out. Deidara's experience flying with his clay sculptures kept him out of harm's way as he outlasted the jutsu. Ha! Nice try, Naruto saw Sai beginning to sweat. Keeping up the flying of the bird coupled with the day's events were getting to him. Naruto saw Deidara catching up and cursed. Sai, turn this thing around. We're not going out like this. Sai was now panting in exhaustion but did as requested. Naruto reached into his pack and carefully pulled out an abnormal black tag before tapping into Kyuubi's chakra to trigger it. The kanji for explode glowed red upon being pumped with the demonic power source. Sai channeled his chakra into the bird to give it enough of a boost to get near Deidara. Deidara threw clay insects at them, but Naruto knocked off their trajectory with a handful of shuriken, sparing them another explosion. The bird almost dropped from the sky as Sai's consciousness wavered momentarily. Naruto almost dropped the tag. Sai, can you keep this thing up for a little bit longer? Just a little more time is all I need. Keep us close, Kohai. Sai looked haggard and exhausted. I will do my best, Naruto-senpai. Naruto nodded and held the tag behind him as it began to sizzle down. Sai got the two birds near one another again. Naruto jumped from their bird to make an attempt at Deidara. The explosive specialist threw more clay spiders at Naruto, who ran through hand signs, wind release, whirlwind, pyramid. A fierce wind burst around Naruto's body, knocking the clay spiders away as he landed on Deidara's bird. Deidara turned and lashed out with a backhand strike that Naruto ducked. Naruto shot a kick at his head after getting under the punch, but was blocked and thrown off of the bird. Deidara cursed as he watched Naruto's body free-fall down towards the whirlpool. Fuck. I was supposed to catch him, not kill him. Sasori's gonna bitch me out when I get back on. Naruto fell towards the ground but was rescued by Sai's bird. Naruto sat up on the back of the bird and patted the pale ninja on the shoulder. Good save. I thought I was gone there for a second, Saikuhai. No response, Saikuhai. Sai's eyes were glazed over, signifying unconsciousness. Fuck. The bird they had been riding on dissolved into ink, due to the creator being indisposed, dropping them both from the sky. Naruto grabbed onto Sai and pushed wind chakra out through his feet to direct their motion towards the tall cylindrical building instead of the water, which would have ended with them drowning. Naruto positioned Sai onto his back and fired off a futon, Fujin Saiken to cushion the impact. As the two hit with Sai on Naruto's back, the aforementioned blonde coughed up blood. Naruto allowed the feeling to re-enter his body before rolling Sai off of his back and looking up at Deidara. Deidara chuckled at the display. That was a good little bit of survival technique on. You're one pesky kid, I have to say. Suddenly he heard the sound of a rumbling sizzle. Under the wing of the bird, there was Naruto's black explosive note. From his place on top of the building, Naruto smirked. Boom. Deidara leapt off of the clay bird just as his clay bird was engulfed in a mid-air firestorm. That looked like a miniature sun from where Naruto was. I can see why Ero-san was so reluctant to teach me how to make explosive tags. Because I ended up making that piece of demonic hell. Now that showed some artistic prowess on. Naruto saw Deidara alive and well below the explosion that took out his bird. Now, however, he was on a massive clay dragon. You are very tricky to pin down on. Witness the next level of my art. C2 dragon. Oh, come on. Naruto palmed his forehead. You've got to draw the line somewhere with stuff like this, S-ranked or not. Deidara chuckled. I can see why Kisame and that ass Itachi found it somewhat difficult to take you. But you've got nowhere to go as long as your little friend is unconscious, huh? Naruto looked at the downed Sai. He had to be suffering from chakra exhaustion. There was no other explanation. He was getting beaten even with Sai's help. He was a sitting duck on this roof. He couldn't fly. He could barely even generate chakra, as his guess was right. The building absorbed or repelled chakra from both inside and outside contact with the wall. How did this place get conquered again? Now then. Deidara's clay dragon opened its mouth. You lot lose. Witness the beauty of my art. On. Deidara's dragon spit up many smaller dragons that flew at Naruto. Naruto cursed and grabbed Sai, running towards the edge of the building as explosions rocked it from the many dragons. He had no clue what he was doing. It was either stay there and die on the roof that they couldn't escape when Deidara finally found a way to incapacitate him, or jump off and die by way of catastrophic fall into the water. And on the off chance that they did survive the initial fall from at least 100 feet in the air. Naruto bit his lip as he neared the edge. Whether we end up in heaven, hell, or somehow survive this, Sai is going to be pissed off when he wakes up. Jumping off the rooftop with the root agent in his grasp, both fell into the raging waters of the joining rivers, being quickly swept up by the whirlpool. Deidara watched the happening with a massive sweat drop on his head. Sasori is really going to kill me. Waking up after getting your ass kicked is never a very fun thing to do. Waking up after getting your ass kicked while stuck down under a pool of water? Well, Naruto emerged from an underground lake, dragging Sai to the rocky shore before collapsing on his back, clearing his lungs of the copious amounts of liquid he had ingested. You all right, Sai Kuhai? Naruto frowned and took Sai's pulse. He was still alive and well, but it was now abundantly clear that the pale ninja was indeed suffering from chakra exhaustion. Naruto checked to see if he was still properly breathing, and the results gave his eyes something of a twitch. How can I be the one that actually woke up and dragged us out of the water, and yet he's the one that didn't get a drop of excess water in his lungs? Naruto sighed and let Sai be for the time being. He took the time to look around the cave they were stuck in. From the roof, the water from the whirlpool was coming through. Obviously how they had gotten in, but where was all of the water going? Naruto formed a shadow clone and had it jump into the water to look for a path to move towards, while he rested and took stock of the situation at hand. As the clone submerged itself under the lake, Naruto leaned against a rock near Sai. Well, their mission was an utter failure, he had to say. All of the things that they looked through brought them nothing but misery, pain, anger. If Sai could even get angry, Naruto wasn't sure, and a lot of wasted time. Before they could even check the last tower to see if there was anything of use in there, the thing was blown to hell by Deidara, an explosives specialist. After a short fight, Naruto had attempted to flee from the rooftop they had managed to be trapped on by jumping into the raging waters below, right into a whirlpool. Needless to say, the fight didn't go so well for the two Konoha ninja. Deidara's ability to keep the battle at a range that Naruto and Sai couldn't contend at was the real issue of the battle. Deidara and his clay bombs were far too versatile for them to attempt fighting him at a distance, and with their inability to close the distance, it was only a matter of time. They had been fighting all day long, whether it be the traps they were forced to survive, or the soulless golem that tried to kill them in the first tower. By the time they fought Deidara, they had been fighting all day long. Naruto started checking his equipment. But when he reached for the ninjato on his back, he got an unpleasant surprise. Fuck! My sword is broken again. Naruto's sheath and blade had been busted, possibly when he fell onto the rooftop from so high in the air during the fight with Deidara. A few explosions caught him as well when he attempted to flee towards the edge, so there could have been another way they broke as well. Who knew where he had deposited the broken pieces? There was no way for him to repair it this time. This was just not his day. He and his partner had been run ragged the entire time, and were attacked by a fresh opponent with superior tactics and the means to execute his game plan. Naruto's body didn't really register the fatigue. The things he did for his own personal training saw to that. However, Sai didn't have his level of stamina, nor his ability to instantly heal the wounds he suffered getting through the traps, and injuries accumulate. Naruto sighed as he looked at Sai's unconscious form. Damn it, Kohai, I told you to tell me if you were hurt or overexerted. Naruto checked himself over. He didn't have anything hurt on him. He was absolutely fine other than his pride. And that had taken a vicious beating, as he didn't land a single shot on Deidara the entire time. Even his new supercharged explosive tag wasn't enough to finish him off. Why didn't you use my chakra? That would have made the results of the battle an afterthought. The Kyuubi decided to chime in. Naruto couldn't say he was ungrateful for the distraction. There wasn't much he could do at the moment, and reflecting on what happened with a second opinion until Sai woke up was as good a time waster as he was going to get. Naruto checked his gear. Sai was right there and we were flying on one of his flimsy ink birds. Even if Sai was able to stand up to a decent amount of exposure to the chakra his bird couldn't, we would have dropped from the sky like a stone and died. I just have to face it, Deidara had our number up there. Kyuubi growled from inside Naruto's head. If you'd come alone, you could have destroyed that fool. Naruto shrugged, mostly to himself. Maybe, but there's no such thing as a fair fight. Coming without Sai might have been easier, but he has his mission, and I didn't see anything wrong with the help. Danzo Jiji wouldn't have sent him if he was weak. He just had a bad draw as an opponent. Deidara seems troublesome. Kyuubi agreed. Danzo was not one to undertrain his people, while he had a penchant for treating his ninja like pawns often. It couldn't be argued that he didn't make absolutely sure that they were ready for the missions that he planned to send them on. If he sent Sai, then he thought that Sai was close to, if not the absolute best that he had. Like Naruto said, Deidara simply caught them at the worst possible time on the worst possible terrain. If you come across that man again, I want you to eradicate him. No questions asked. Understood. Naruto scoffed. You don't control me. But you're right. If I see him again, I'm going to drag him to the ground and rip his arms off, and not particularly in that order either. Where did he get all of those explosives from, and how did he have time to shape them? That's what I really want to know. Get some rest. You cannot do anything while your partner is unconscious and weak. The bomber human must think you two died being thrown into the whirlpool, so there is no one pursuing you at the moment. Take advantage of that and regain what strength you both can for the time being, Kyuubi said somewhat sagely. Naruto hated doing nothing, but after flaring his chakra, one good time eventually buckled and began to focus on the sound of the falling, crashing water to lull him to sleep. I'm so dead. I'm so dead, Deidara repeated to himself as he flew over the whirlpool that the two boys fell into, looking for any sign that Naruto had survived and getting none. I'm so dead. Deidara, get down here. Deidara paled somewhat at the sound of the gruff voice calling his name. Looking down at the abandoned, ruined village, he saw a thick, hunched figure in a black robe with red clouds and the large straw hat that Akatsuki members are known to wear. Deidara, get down here now. Deidara swallowed his nerves and landed his clay bird before pasting a nervous smile on his face. Sasori, you made it down here at last. Sasori simply looked right at Deidara. I thought you were going ahead to capture the Jinchuriki, since you could move faster than I could through the air. Deidara grinned apologetically. Well, you see, I did find him, and fight him. He had another guy with him, and we ended up getting into a little fight. They were kind of troublesome, but in the end, they weren't that hard to beat. Sasori kept his tone even. And? You're not telling me everything, Deidara. Don't treat me as if I were a fool. Deidara held his hands up in a placating fashion. I never said that, Sasori. But when I beat them and moved in to finish the Jinchuriki, he took his partner and jumped off of the building I had him trapped on. And then he landed in the water and got sucked into the whirlpool. Whoops. Sasori stared at Deidara for a long minute before sighing. Your stupid excuse for art jumped the gun? Did it not, Deidara? Deidara got a tick mark on his head. Hey, my art is better than your boring rustinware attracting excuses. Besides, how was I supposed to know he was audacious enough to jump off of a building into a whirlpool? People don't do that. Sasori scoffed and walked away. Apparently this person did. Deidara simply watched Sasori walk away. Sasori, shouldn't you be angrier about this? The Jinchuriki is dead. Leader Sama is going to tear us limb from limb for this. Sasori never broke his stride. He's dead, is he? Did you see his body? Deidara shook his head, even though Sasori couldn't see it. Then he's not dead. Tell me he's dead when we find his body. And then I'll show you how angry I can be. Deidara followed behind Sasori slowly. Sure thing. Sasori spoke once more in his straightforward, gruff voice. It's just as I remember it. Deidara gave him an odd look, but chalked it up to Sasori just being weird like that. Undisclosed amount of time later, underground cavern in Uzushogakure. Naruto cracked an eye as the loud pounding noises filled the cavern. What the hell is up now? Don't tell me they're attacking the river bottom now. Naruto got up and walked over to Sai while the loud thud still rang out. Naruto kicked Sai in the hip sharply. Sai Kuhai, wake up. You've been lazy enough for my tastes. Sai slowly opened his eyes. Naruto-senpai, where are we? What happened? Naruto looked around in order to figure out what was making that hellacious racket. Long story short. You blacked out on me when the tide was about to turn in our fight with that Akatsuki bomber, and I had to jump into the whirlpool in an effort to escape being blown up on top of one of the towers. I sure didn't see this one coming. Naruto gritted his teeth in annoyance. What the hell is that noise? Sai rubbed his head and sat up. What are you talking about, senpai? What noise? Naruto gave him a dry look. You really can't hear that. Naruto gestured around as grandly as the sound rang out. That noise. What is it? Naruto shook his head and put that in the back of his mind for the time being. My shadow clones found out that there's a waterway path leading out, but it's under the water. Can you hold your breath for a while so we can get out of here? Sai nodded and pulled himself to his feet. I should be fine. How long have we been down here, by the way? Naruto rubbed his head. I'm not sure. I can't tell how long I've been asleep since we got down here. How's your chakra exhaustion? Sai generated some chakra before dropping it with a breath. I should be okay with a soldier pill. It will get me out of here at the very least. Sai reached into his pack and fished out a pill before popping it. That should hold me until we're safe enough to rest for real. Naruto started gnashing his teeth as reasonably sized chunks of rock started falling from the ceiling into the water nearby. This is perfect. The place is caving in. Come on, Sai. We need to get out of here before we get stuck in here. We lucked out up there, but our window of escape is closing. A boulder twice the size of the teenage ninja dropped into the water, literally. Naruto dove into the water, followed closely behind by Sai. Once inside of the water, it actually became more treacherous for the two, as swimming made it harder for them to dodge wayward debris falling in with them. Naruto brought Sai to an underwater tunnel that took them further under Uzushiogakure. Where exactly? He wasn't sure, but it was better than sitting in a cave waiting for no one to save them. Eventually, they wound up in another underground aquifer. But upon their heads breaching the water, they were forced to jump out to dodge a giant stone foot crashing into them. Naruto and Sai stood on the surface of the water to see the same statue from previously, pulling its leg out of the water and turning its gaze on them. Naruto palmed his forehead. How did that thing even get down here? Sai pulled out his drawing scroll. Worry about that later, senpai. We need to fight. Naruto nodded and reached for his sealing paper, only to pull out a soggy, messy wad of wet paper. Naruto's sweat dropped at the sight of his most versatile ninja tool falling to the ground in pieces. That is so not good. He looked over at Sai. How do you still have ink in that scroll? You were underwater too. Sai spared Naruto a glance. My scroll keeps my ink and brush inside as well, and when it's shut, it is airtight. Nothing gets in. Naruto sighed. Damn, that's useful. I need to invest in something like that apparently. He was cut off by being forced to dodge another attack from the statue. Landing ashore, the two boys ran past the sentinel, dodging swings of its massive hands that ended up pounding into the wall hard, causing rocks to drop dangerously from the ceiling and narrowly miss them both. That's the thing causing the damned cave-in? Sai looked back as they both began running down a corridor. It must be the protector of Uzushogakura's inner sanctum, not just that one tower. You must have accidentally stumbled upon a secret area of the village when you fled from our attacker Naruto-senpai. Hard thudding footsteps sounded out behind them at a louder and louder pace. The boys turned around to find the statue gaining on them. Naruto's eyes widened at the speed that it was walking at. Why is it so much faster down here? Sai looked and turned around before pulling out his ink. It must be the momentum that it can gain down here on this long straightaway as opposed to the room we had it in the first time. Ink flush. Sai poured some of his ink onto the ground and made a few hand seals. Many ink snakes burst from the ground and attempted to ensnare the statue, but upon making contact, the seal array reverted them back to ink. Was there any part of you that thought that would work? Naruto gave Sai a dry look as they continued to run. Sekuhai. Nothing has changed since the last time we fought this thing, except this time I can't take control of it to beat it. Our jutsu will still disperse upon even touching this thing. Sai nodded in agreement. Uzushio Gakura truly were fearsome seal masters, if they could make buildings and living golems resistant to chakra-based attacks. Naruto shot a look over his shoulder. Marvel at my ancestors' workmanship later. We still need to lose this thing and find the way out. My shadow clones didn't find an exit, it just found a different path to use. When Sai gave him a questioning look, he shrugged. I told it to find me a path, and that's what it did. I never said to go any further. Naruto and Sai had to separate as now the statue had gotten close enough to nearly squash the both of them with its foot. It began swinging across at both boys, hitting more walls and causing more things to fall. Naruto and Sai sped up as the cavern began collapsing. What is this thing's problem? It's going to bury itself too, if it keeps this up. The emotionless root ninja rejoined with Naruto as they started putting more distance between them and the statue. It must not care as long as it is able to repel all invaders. It possibly won't leave us alone until we are dead. I wonder how it knows where we are. Naruto shook his head. I don't know, but it's just a stupid statue. We might not be able to destroy it, but we can outsmart it. They then entered a clearing where there were several possible tunnels to take, leading further underground. So how are you at labyrinths and mazes, Sai? Sai stood for a moment, the statue closing in behind them before grabbing Naruto and dragging him down a random path. He dragged Naruto so abruptly that Naruto didn't even have time to steady himself and channel chakra to his limbs. Now that he thought about it, Sai wasn't doing that either. After rounding a corner, Sai grabbed Naruto and pulled him against the wall, keeping him from speaking with his hand over his mouth. As the sound of thudding got lower and lower, Sai eventually removed his hand and gestured for Naruto to stay quiet. Naruto spoke in a whisper. What was that all about? Sai responded. I know how it found us in the cave. When we last saw it, we had left it in that tower with the elevator platform coming from the ground, correct? Naruto nodded. Well, I believe that the statue can sense bursts of chakra anywhere within the inner workings of Uzushio-gakure. Like the way the wall absorbed our chakra when we tried to climb it at first. I believe it sends signals of our location to the statue, like some kind of radar. Naruto's interest was piqued, so you're saying that we're actually somewhere important in Uzu? But what about the statue? That bastard will just keep coming for us the entire time we're down here. Sai shook his head. It responds to bursts of chakra. If we refrain from using any at all, then it won't be able to pinpoint our location, and will return to its hibernation mode on its platform. Naruto stroked his chin. He could see how that could work. He did flare his chakra before going to sleep in the cave. That left ample time for the statue to come from wherever its resting place was to somewhere it could attack them from. Wait. Is the platform our only way out of here? Sai shrugged. I'm not sure, Naruto-senpai, but it's certainly the most blatant way out of here should we find it. Naruto groaned lowly. So to get out of here, we pretty much have to go to the big ugly killer statue. That's just great. Naruto looked around where Sai had pulled him to. Where the hell is this? Sai looked as well. The room, if you could call it that, was a dead-end area with one ornate door on the far wall. There were skeletons in old shinobi armor strewn about the vicinity. The two boys looked around, inspecting the skeletons. Sai picked up some old rusted kunai and shuriken before deeming them utterly useless and throwing them aside. Naruto scooped down near one of the deceased skeleton ninja and picked up a dusty-looking book. He blew the dust off of it and opened it up before reading it aloud. Autumn War. 3 days after the primary defense is shattered. The enemy alliance has fought their way into our border and are now moving towards the main citadel. In an effort to retreat and take stock of our resources and chances of launching a counterattack in the near future, we secretly fled to the hidden whirlpool catacombs beneath the village. There are approximately 32 of us remaining as the rest elected to remain above, leading the enemy fools into the towers to their deaths. The sounds of the fools screaming from the first tower ring out through our chambers as I write. They just seem to keep sending their men inside, knowing that the sentinel awaits them. The moment the commotion up above stops, we will strike. 6 days since the primary defense is shattered. The battle above still rages. The village leader will not acquiesce to our requests to rejoin the battle above. The sounds of our brethren still combating the foe ring out as clear as day in our ears as we sit and wait down below. The men are growing stir-crazy and bitter at our inaction. However, we must go with the will of our leader. He knows what is needed for Uzushiogakure to survive. Konoha will come. They will not let us fall, not after so many years, not after all that our alliance has gone through. We sit and wait for our moment, 1Q. That is all we need to unleash hell upon the invading bastards. 2 weeks since the primary defense is shattered, the battle grows quieter above. We still hear the sounds of combat, but they are more sparse now. Not the cacophony of noise that one would associate with the assistance of our allies, as we initially estimated we would receive. However, it has been weeks since the assault on our home and no aid from Konohagakure has been received. Suna, Kumo, and Iwa are cowards. They preyed on our civilians, forcing us to divert a good amount of our Geinin and Chunin to evacuation stations. Many of our warriors were lost to this purpose that I will not say was worthless. Our civilians are as much a part of our beloved home as our shinobi forces, however. Many of our troops were picked off keeping the people safe. To prey on our nation who has never intentionally slighted them in the least, this is treachery at its highest form. Our village leader has had enough and is casting away the contingency plan. He is heading up with volunteers for one final battle with the invaders. I will be among the ones that head up to link up with any survivors for one last-ditch effort at casting the Allied force out. This will be our finest hour. They will tell legends of our valor. Blood smeared the pages of the final passage as there was no time span listed. Sasori. We believed that the invading force was an alliance of the 3 villages I have been cursing throughout these passages, but it was just him. Him and him alone. He commanded a force of such overwhelming numerical superiority, we figured it was an alliance. The numerous forehead protector visible did nothing to give us any belief to the contrary, but we were mistaken. Never have I seen such mastery of Tsunagakure's most sacred art of war. He was able to keep the remainder of our shinobi busy and combat our leader directly with his puppet force. But the ones he used on us at first were nothing compared to what we saw when he started feeling the pressure of our attack. He released one puppet, just one. This puppet was horrifyingly effective. I have never and will never see anything like it ever again. The third, Kazuya Kage, had gone missing shortly before his attack. His whereabouts and well-being were unknown to all, but we now know just what happened to the Wind Shadow. He is now Sasori's most destructive tool of violence. The Iron Sand bloodline is fearsome. and Sasori somehow retained his ability to utilize it even in his death. One jutsu was enough to take us all out of action. The village leader gave the few of us left after Sasori's jutsu instructions to come down here and place all of Uzu Shogakure's valuables in the most secure place in the village. That was the last thing we were all able to do. A terrible paralysis had stricken us once the vault door closed. We cannot move. We cannot utilize our chakra. Even breathing is becoming increasingly difficult. It is taking me the last of my strength to write down the events that have led to our demise. So long as the village's greatest treasure resides behind the impenetrable vault of Uzushiogakura's premier clan, we will never be lost. Naruto shut the journal and shook his head sadly. Sasori. Tsunagakura's greatest puppet user ever, Naruto-senpai. He was unmatched in the art. He went rogue almost 20 years ago, however. Sai said to the blonde shinobi. He must have been brought in as a closer when Uzu's defenses inflicted heavy enough losses on the ninja. Naruto nodded at Sai's logic. So... He turned towards the ornate door where many skeletons were positioned. Impenetrable vault. You want to see if we can get into it? We did come here to see if we could get something after all. Sai looked apprehensive. With all of the luck that we've been getting out of everything else around here, I don't think tampering with the safe would be wise, Naruto-senpai. Naruto walked over to the vault and gave it a look over. Sakuhai, do you know anything about safe cracking? I was more of the direct assault type myself. Sai reluctantly made his way over and gave the vault a look himself before shaking his head. There's no conceivable way for me to break into the vault. We need the key, or else this door stays shut, senpai. Naruto looked at the door intensely before his eyes widened. Whoa. This is an elaborate blood seal array. Like, really elaborate. It's very, very precise about who it lets in, and I believe that anyone out of proper lineage will get a nasty little surprise for their troubles. Sai walked around, pacing in thought, before he stopped and looked at Naruto. What was that last passage in the journal, senpai? Naruto pulled it straight from memory. So long as the village's greatest treasure resides behind the impenetrable vault of Uzushiogakuri's premier clan, we will never be lost. Naruto's eyes widened. You don't think? Sai nodded. They were the most famous clan of the village. Go ahead and try it. Naruto scowled at Sai. Says the guy that won't get fried if he attempts to use it. Fine. Naruto pulled out a kunai and cut his palm, coating all of his fingers in blood before looking at his hand. Then at Sai, and sighing, when I die, you stay the hell away from my funeral. Sai gave Naruto his smile. If you die from this, then I'll just leave you here with the rest of your family's village of origin. That's what you would want, right? Naruto's eye twitched. You're an asshole, Kohai. Naruto turned back to the door and placed his bloody hand against it. Wincing in anticipation for a violent rebuttal from the door, he got a pleasant surprise as he heard the tumblers open from within, finally opening and revealing the contents within to the boys. Looking within, he saw that the vault wasn't very large. It was big enough for both Naruto and Sai to stand in, and that was about it. There was no treasure of financial value, no stockpiled money, nothing of the sort. There was a shelf with a dozen scrolls on it. Sai reached for one and attempted to open it. Naruto watched him struggle before sighing and dragging a bloody finger across it, opening it. Sai grunted in thanks and began reading, ending up squinting at what was on it. There's nothing on it at all, senpai. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the scroll and swiped his bloody finger on the parchment as symbols appeared on the paper. Naruto handed it back to Sai. There you go. Now read. Sai looked at it again. I can't read this, senpai. Naruto sighed and took it from him. What are you dyslexic? It says clearly, Scroll 1 of Uzushiogakura's listed existing seal array combinations. Get your head in the game, Mr. Chakra Exhaustion. Zaya gave him a confused look. I didn't see that at all. It looked like a bunch of random squiggles. Naruto looked back at the scroll. He could read it as clear as day when Sai could not. Naruto smirked. Wow, that's really good sealing jutsu. You can't even read this unless you're an Uzumaki. Sucks for you and everyone else still in Root Saikuhai. Sai nodded. Quite, I assume. So I guess your Uzumaki blood is why it was nigh impossible for Danzo-sama to place his personal sealing jutsu on you and have it stay effective. Naruto shrugged. I guess. Let's load this stuff up so we can get out of here already. Naruto and Sai packed all of the scrolls into Naruto's pockets for the time being, seeing as how any chakra used to seal them in a storage scroll would have tipped off the ever-vigilant and uber-tough guard statue that had apparently been killing things for over 20 years. After reading that, Naruto and Sai really didn't want to see exactly how good they were, not against that thing. Naruto noticed something behind the shelves as they finished loading his pockets with scrolls. What in the... Naruto pulled the wooden shelves down to find another door behind them, a sheathed sword held in a groove on the door. It was an ninjato like Naruto's utterly eradicated sword. The sheath was black with silver and gold spiral designs all over it. The handle looked smooth and well made, but very plain. Sai tried to pull it out, getting Naruto to push him back. You'd think that you would have learned with the vault door and scrolls. Naruto latched onto the blade and tugged on it, getting no give whatsoever. Naruto's sweat dropped as he could have sworn. If Sai showed emotion, he would have been giving Naruto the equivalent of an I told you so look one moment. I've almost got it. Sai watched Naruto tug away at the sword for the better part of a minute. Yes, you've got it all right, Naruto-senpai. One more tug and I think you might peel some of the sheaths covering off on your hands. Naruto grunted in effort as he continued pulling, now planting his feet on the sides for leverage, as he used his entire body to pull. Fuck you, Saikuhai! You sure don't show emotion, but you've got that sarcasm shit down pat, don't you? Why don't you be useful and shut the hell up so I can concentrate? This is man's work. Sai shook his head and sat down outside the vault as Naruto kept pulling at the sword inside. Damn it! I'm not leaving without this thing. It looks sweet, and I need a replacement. Naruto kept yanking at the sword with all of his might. Don't you know who I am? I'm Naruto Uzu fucking Makey. You're a stupid goddamn sword. Apparently, upon utterance of the word Uzumaki, complete with the colorful swear and loud proclamation, something in the groove holding the sword clicked and released the blade to Naruto in a burst of cold smoke, sending him flying backwards. Sai looked at the inside of the vault as the smoke cleared, and his eyes widened in uncharacteristic surprise. Naruto stood up with a triumphant grin on his face. How do you like that, you piece of archaic crap? I rule you. Naruto looked up at Sai. All right, Sai. We've got everything I think, so let's get out of here before our luck turns again. Sai didn't move. Naruto-senpai, I think you should come here and see this too. Naruto walked over inside the vault with Sai, and found that the wall he had taken the ninjato from had collapsed. Naruto swung his arms about to clear the strangely cold smoke from view. When it cleared out, Naruto's jaw dropped at what they had found. Encased in what seemed to look like ice was a white-haired girl. Uzushi-Ogakura, above ground. Sasori, why are we still here? Deidara asked as he sat by a fire. Looking bored. The Jinchuriki is gone, and we aren't even looking for him. Shouldn't we have reported back in to Leader Sama right now? Sasori kept looking towards the trio, now duo, towers of Uzushigakure, when Uzushi-Ogakure was first attacked many years ago. It was believed that the defenders were wiped out after a 2-week battle. However, there were many surviving ninja that came out of hiding, fresh, for one last-ditch effort at victory. Nothing is as it seems in this place. A few of the last defenders were never accounted for. He turned to Deidara. As long as I haven't seen any bodies, they aren't dead. They will be back topside soon enough, and that is when we will finish them. Deidara looked at Sasori and nodded. Sasori, why do you know so much about this? Sasori remained silent, forcing Deidara to sigh and pout about him being such a bastard so much of the time. Kirigakure, with Kakashi. Kakashi sighed as he once again retired to the room he was sharing with Shikamaru for the night. Where the hell are you, Naruto? It's been a week since you left. I can't keep Shikamaru and Taiuya off of my back about this forever. You need to make it back before we have to leave, or I don't know what I'm going to have to do. He looked over at Shikamaru, who was sleeping on a bed nearby. Should I send Pakun or another one of my ninkin? Would they even be able to find him? He's in a completely different country. I knew this was a bad idea. Thudding footsteps sounded off down the hall, stirring Shikamaru from his slumber. Kakashi cursed to himself and stood by the door. Here we go again. Kakashi opened the door with perhaps the most artificial eye smile he had ever given anyone for any reason ever. Why, hello, Tayuya. What can I do for you tonight? Tayuya stood in the doorway with an irritated scowl on her face and her hands on her hips. Where the hell is the blonde asshole? Kakashi gave her a look. What have I been telling you since day one? Where Naruto went was his business. If he wants you to know, he'll tell you when he gets back. Tayuya got a tick mark on her head. Well then, in that case, could you tell me exactly how long it's going to take him to drag his whiskery, borderline homicidal, scar-faced ass back here? Because he's been gone long enough to file a missing persons report 3 times over. Kakashi leaned against the doorframe. Are you saying that you don't trust him? After all that he's done for you, and you don't trust him enough to handle his own affairs elsewhere? Trust me when I say this is as personal as any undertaking Naruto is going to attempt. Tayuya looked down. It's not that I don't trust him. He's the entire reason I'm not in a tiny cell or even dead right now. Honestly, I trust him a hell of a lot more now than I probably will ever trust you. She looked up at Kakashi, no offense. Kakashi gave her a true eye smile. None taken. Tayuya ran her hand through her hair, and I know he's strong. If he could beat Kimimaro, then that's saying something, but I'm saying that he can't trust us. Why can't he trust us? You were Jonin Sensei when he was a genin, weren't you? That lazy bum over there was his classmate in your ninja academy, wasn't he? And me were friends. I'm his friend, aren't I? I live next door to him and I see him pretty much every day. Oh, hell. Emotional female distress. I should have known even a girl like her still qualifies as a girl. Let's see, I need a way out here. Kakashi thought to himself as he feigned interest as he subtly looked around the room. Damn you, Shikamaru, you have an easy out. I know your ass isn't asleep. That lazy-bone stigma saved you today. Those times he saw me when I was in solitary confinement. I mean, why would he just go and do something like that? Spend time with me when he didn't have to, and then just up and leave like this without a single word. He trusted me enough to give me my weapon back inside of his own home, and not now. Is it something I did, Kakashi? Kakashi sighed to himself and resigned himself to his fate. No, Tayuya, I don't think it was anything that you did. He's just a secretive kid these days. But why now? And why to me? She asked. It's not like I would have even tagged along. I just want to know what he's doing. Sai, with Naruto and Sai both spent the longest time staring at the girl. Naruto wiped some fog from the clear barrier keeping the girl suspended. Her eyes were closed as she had a very serene look on her face, her heart-shaped face. She had long white hair that went down her back with sharp claw hammer bangs in front of her face. From her body type, Naruto and Sai figured that she was somewhere within their age range. How were they able to do this, you ask? Well, she was naked, that's how. After a long time of the two boys just staring, Sai pointed at her. So are you going to get her out of there, Naruto-senpai? Naruto kept his eyes on the girl because... Well, come on. How often in life are you going to get a 100% valid reason to look at a girl you don't know naked and not feel somewhat like a deviant in the process? How the fuck do you figure I'm gonna go about pulling off that miracle, Sai? I don't know any kata ninjutsu and this shit doesn't even look like ice anyway. Sai gave him a dry look. You opened and activated everything else we've come across so far. I don't see how you couldn't come up with a way to get this girl free as well. Naruto shrugged. Maybe, but do you think she'll be able to walk when we get her out? It's kind of dangerous to be around us right now if you haven't noticed. Naruto rubbed his chin in thought. Actually, more importantly, do you think she'll be able to chase us? Because if I woke up butt naked like her and found out the two guys had been staring at me for the better part of an hour, I would run to the nearest living thing and kill it. Sai frowned. Who knows? But aren't you curious right now? You said you wanted to come for everything in Uzu. Well, she's in Uzu. She's right here in front of you, and I think you can get her out. Will you just leave her here until the end of time? Naruto looked down shamefully. That would be pretty messed up, huh? But Sakuhai, what in the blue hell am I going to do with her? I mean, she doesn't even look like she's related to me. Her face is too different. Her eye structure isn't as big as mine. Her nose is more, I don't know, regal, I guess. Seriously, who the hell is this girl? There's only one way to find out, senpai, Sai said as he gestured to the frozen girl. Naruto rolled his eyes and cut his hand once more before sticking it to the stuff encasing the girl. It rapidly started to melt onto the ground. Naruto looked at his hand in surprise. Man, I've got some good blood. Did you see that? Like it was molten lava or something. The girl almost collapsed onto the ground before Naruto and Sai caught her. The two stared at each other in confusion as neither had the slightest clue as to what to do in this situation. Slowly, her eyes fluttered open to reveal amber eyes. Naruto watched in interest as the girl looked into his eyes and blinked in confusion, before finally speaking in a sweet voice. Hello. Naruto's face was unchanging as he answered her right back. Hi there. She looked around blankly. Who are you? And what am I doing here? Naruto shrugged. In order asked. My name is Naruto. This is Sai, and we have no clue. We thought we could get that part from you. She seemed to accept this as a reasonable answer. I see. Okay. One more question. Naruto nodded. Shoot. Why am I naked? Naruto and Sai looked at each other before Naruto turned back to her and answered, We don't know that either. Naruto gave her body a good once-over look. Good on you, though. Bravo. The girl simply looked up at him from her back, not a single indication of discomfort towards her current situation. She crinkled her nose in a cute manner. I hate to trouble you, but would either of you happen to have any clothes on you that I could wear? My own seem to be missing at the moment, and this floor is cold. Naruto and Sai looked at each other before Naruto pulled a sealing scroll from his pocket and unsealed a change of clothes. The two boys gave her some privacy as they vacated the vault to allow her to change. Sai took this time to whisper to Naruto, What are we going to do now, senpai? Naruto glared at Sai. I don't know. We definitely can't leave her here. That's for damn sure. Can you take her back to Konoha with you? Sai frowned and keep her where? I have only enough space in my lodgings for myself, and Danzo-sama isn't accepting anyone else en route either. He wouldn't take her, regardless. She's too old to be trained by him properly now. Naruto started pacing. This is all turning into one massive clusterfuck. I swear. I came here looking for scrolls, maybe a family tree, the usual stuff. I found a Katsuki, a statue with a grievance and a hot naked girl sealed in a vault. What is it with my luck? So who are you two again? Naruto and Sai turned around to see the girl with her white hair tied in twin ponytails going down her back. She had on a black pair of Naruto's shinobi pants rolled up to her knees with a black pair of sandals. She had on one of Naruto's black muscle shirt, and the sight of the girl adjusting it on her chest was actually quite appealing to Naruto, but it was business time. God, I'm so stiff after being stuck in that place. Me too. Naruto said before he slapped himself. What I meant was, shouldn't you give your own name before asking for someone else's? The girl's mouth opened in realization, and she quickly bowed. I'm so sorry. My name is Hamako Kiyomizu, level 9, Seal Master Apprentice of Ozusho Gakure. Naruto stared at her in shock. You're a seal master. No way, you're so young. How can you be level 9? My sensei isn't even level 9. He says he's level 8. She put her hands on her hips. Well, I just said I'm a seal master apprentice. I'm not a fully accredited seal master yet until sensei promotes me to level 10. She blinked in thought. Wait, there's a battle going on right now. She looked around rapidly. Where's sensei? Where's anyone? She then noticed the forehead protector on the heads of the two boys. She broke out in a huge smile. Konoha is here. Sensei said they would come. You must have beaten all of those jerks up top. She looked at Sai and Naruto fondly. So I'm sorry I'm such an airhead sometimes. What were your names again? Naruto answered, well, he doesn't really have a name. I just call him Sai, it seems to fit him. Sai nodded in acknowledgement, and me, like I said, I'm Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Hamako's eyes widened upon hearing his surname. Uzumaki-sama? From Konoha? You must be related to Mito-sama somehow. Naruto looked at her in confusion. Mito-sama? Who is Mito? And? Sama? Why am I Sama? Hamako latched onto Naruto's arm. To be saved by a member of Mito-sama's family in Konoha. This is truly a blessing. Have you and your partner seen Sensei yet? Others will probably call him village leader or something. Naruto looked somewhat hesitant to accept her thanks. Hamako, I don't know how to tell you this, so I'll let this guy do it. Tell her Sai. Sai nodded. Uzusho fell while you were in that chamber. You've been asleep for the better part of nearly 20 years, Hamako Kiyomizu. Hamako just stared at them for a moment before a grin broke out on her face. You guys need to stop fooling around. If Konoha is here, that means that we won. You shouldn't fib like that. What if I had taken that seriously? She finished with a small giggle. Naruto looked down sadly and Sai simply kept emotionless eyes on her. Hamako stopped smiling. You guys, right? Tell me I'm right. Tell me that you're just messing with me, that Uzu is still okay, she asked in an increasingly desperate manner. Naruto and Sai both turned towards the nearest wall and spoke at the same time. Shit! With that, the wall crashed down as the sentinel came through, its eyes set firmly on Naruto and Sai. The two prepared to grab Hamako and run until the girl stepped towards the statue. Stop being a nuisance, Komanu-kun, she spoke with utter authority. The statue stopped moving at the girl's behest, shocking Naruto into a stupor. How the hell did you do that? Do you have any idea the hell that thing put us through for the past 2 days? Hamako turned to Naruto. What do you mean? How did I do that? I was the one that made the seal that animated him. Why wouldn't I have control over him? Now tell me, she said in an increasingly dark tone. What happened? To Uzu? She was starting to shake as she spoke. Naruto moved quickly and wrapped Hamako in a hug. I'm so sorry, Hamako, but Sai wasn't lying. This is real. Uzushio was sacked a long time ago. You're the only person we found here alive, and that's because you were in that odd hibernation chamber. Hamako stood silently, leaning on Naruto's shoulder until she finally broke down and began to cry on him. Naruto simply held her and let her get it all out. He moved them over towards an unruined wall and let her weep for her lost land on him. It was the very least he could do for her for now. And that's it for the video. Until next time. Later.